We are live. Welcome, Campbell Coins, to Tuesday Night Trash Talk, Season 1, Episode 5. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
What's going on? How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing good. We got a couple people in the chat already.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime, man. So, what started you to stack, man? When did you start stacking?
Oh, I started stacking back when I was in college. So like 05, I got that like that neck, the hair raising on your neck feeling. I'm like, something's not right. And then I'm checking out gold. Like I see like a website for gold. I'm like looking at that and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I really like gold. I want to get some of this. And it's just like something you're drawn to, And so I picked up some and held on to it. And then more recently, I've gotten into like the silver stacking game and everything else, probably within the last 8 years or so.
So you're mostly a gold stacker?
No, I gold, silver, platinum, everything, collecting. So it's not one or the other. I know there's like some people that are like, I'm only a silver stacker. I'm only a gold stacker. I do it all. Diversification.
Absolutely. I can't, some people just stack silver, and if that works for them, that works for them. But, it's very important, in my opinion, to diversify and stack other metals just rather than silver or gold.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially now, I would not put all of my eggs into silver. I mean, I first of all, I would never in a million years think that silver to gold ratio would go to 120 like it did 3 years ago, two or 3 years ago. I would never in a million years think that, and it did. And it's kind of like, wow. So if it's at 80, I think it's at 81.7 now, and it hasn't dipped like below 64, 65 in a long time. I'm like, will it ever? So silver is great, but it's more of like a long term for me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And gold has always been like the ultimate safe haven asset, right? And I think I've become more bullish on gold lately because I'm not getting any younger. I'm 47 years old, and it's the safer play. It's the safest play, I think, out of all three metals. But I too, obviously, am a huge fan of diversification. I love stacking all three. I got into it with silver, and then it just broadened out to gold, and then it broadened out to platinum. So, I mean, I think what Campbell's Coins is saying is spot on. I mean, you got to diversify, and that's the best way to, in my opinion, anyways, to have your stack.
I agree with you. And I think you're a little more diversified than I am, Triple P, because we all know that you're the platinum king.
I don't know about that. I mean, I got to check. I'm at like 12 or 13 ounces of platinum. That's not like a whole lot. But I've only been stacking less than 2 years. I just started. Like,
yeah, I just started platinum last year. So you're ahead of me at least.
I wish I would have started when you did though, Campbell. I mean, I was a dumbass. It took me longer to get my shit together and figure out, the benefits of trying to become debt free and trying to build a stable financial foundation for you and your family. And, it happened for me like in my mid 40s. If it would have happened even 5 years earlier, I think, man, I would be even in so much better of a position than I am now because it was so much cheaper back then. But then I look ahead and I'm like, well, fuck, I'm 47 years old. Let's fast forward 5 years to when I'm 52. We're looking at $1,860 gold or 1870 gold right now or something like that. What's it going to be 5 years from now? I mean, fuck, who knows?
Well, I mean, yeah, play that exercise. Like, let's say it's 2018 and I go back to the future or go to back in the past to you, and I'm talking to you and I'm like, hey, Triple P, guess what? Gas is $6. Biden is president. We have a proxy war going on in Ukraine. Inflation is 8.5%. And I ask you, what's the price of gold? What would you say? Would you say it's 1,800 or 1,900 an ounce?
You know, I got to be honest with you. What was the price of gold in 2018? I don't even know off the top of my head.
It was more like 14,
Yeah,
14.
it was about
No,
14.
I probably would have said with all of the things that we're seeing today that we would be at least in the mid twos, 25, 2,600.
Yeah, but not 1,900. That's my point.
Right.
It's insane. Like all the things that are going on right now, I would never have thought. Okay, we're at 1,900. I get recently why the gold is dipped, but still, it's going much
Just
higher.
look at it this way. You know, in the 1920s, early 1930s, gold was $20 an ounce. And, you know, even though that seems like a long time ago, what's it been, 100 years now? And now it's $1,900, $2,000 an ounce.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what. One of my favorite videos that Campbell's Coins ever put out was when he made that comparison of how gold actually serves as a hedge against inflation. And I mean, you made the video, you can describe it better than me, but I think you used the comparison of a well-made men's suit, right?
Yeah, I mean
And
that comparison has been used, or that example has been used for a really long time. Like they go back all the way to Roman times. And they said you can get like a robe, your belt, your shoes for an ounce of gold, and then go to medieval times, suit of armor. You know, like I don't know. I wonder like that example has been repeated so many times. I wonder how authentic it is, but I know the suit example, at least from the 20s, is real, and it is true to today.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing with a silver quarter back in 1964. That quarter would buy you a gallon of gas. And today, that quarter will buy you a gallon of gas, a little over a gallon of gas.
Yeah.
You know, so it proofs in the pudding. You know, it's a hedge against inflation. It protects your wealth.
right.
Now,
Absolutely.
Campbell, when it comes to what's the main reason why you stack? Are you a prepper? Is it for savings, investing, retirement, or
It's a
all of
little of
above?
everything. It's
A
a
little
little
bit
of
of
everything.
everything.
Yeah. Because it services all those things all at once. So it can be everything for everybody. It doesn't have to be just one thing. Somebody might look at it as one thing, like this is my insurance, right? And all of a
Mhm.
sudden it turns into their emergency fund. You know, it can happen in a split second. So somebody might go into it with the mindset of this is my retirement, but it turns out to be like an insurance policy 5 years from now because they have something coming up. So I think like a lot of people have it in their mindset of just like one or another, or maybe like two things. But when you look at it, it's really everything if you allow it to be.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. You know, you might look at it as a savings, you know, and you don't want to touch it until you're in your late 50s, early mid 60s. But then something comes up and you have to use it. You know, if you're buying a house or you need a new car or you need to get your car fixed, you know, it can also be a emergency fund. And yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Now,
I'll tell you, it's amazing. The first time that you get that gold or that silver in your hand, it does something almost magic to you that changes your life. And I can say this because it just happened to me 2 years ago. But I have not always been in as good of a financial position as I am now. And I consider myself very blessed to be where I'm at. But I owe a lot of it to just the fact of what stacking gold and silver does to you. It changes your whole outlook. It's almost like magic because it literally makes you think about financial responsibility. And um, it's changed my life. And I like I said, I just wish it would have happened to me a lot sooner. But you know, it's great because you're always learning too. You learn something new every day the more you stack.
Definitely. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better myself. It's when you get that gold in your hand, when you feel that heft, you're like, holy crap, you know? and it's almost like a light switch that goes off, and just like you said, it is magic. I couldn't explain it any better. It's like magic, where it's just like it puts your focus on things that are important, and it almost changes you as a person.
It does. I think it does. It's made me a better human being all the way around.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because it's in movies and stuff. It's kind of given like a more of like an evil edge, like the bad guys hold the gold. And I like that. I find that narrative interesting because I think if they were to give it a different spin, people would actually like be more open to it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and another thing that I think is amazing is that when we were kids, or even just recently up until we started stacking, we were always like, oh, I wish we could own gold. That's the goal in life, to have gold. And I never thought in a million years that I would be stacking and owning gold or silver.
Well,
what got you started, Patriot?
What got me started? Well, I don't know if you know, but I'm young. I'm my late 20s, and I was raised, really good by my parents. To work for everything you have. Establish yourself, hustle when you're young, so you can retire, at a decent age, rather than, in your 70s. And what quality of life do you have after that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Most people, once they retire, 5-10 years if lucky. So that was like my drive, and I want to retire in my 50s. I want to be able to, live the rest of the 20 years, 25 years of my life, not have to work, comfortable. So when I got out of high school, and I was, a fuck up, I was partying, drugs, everything, like any other high schooler does most of the time. And, I said, screw this. I'm not gonna, I just got the woman at the time pregnant with my first child. And I said, what kind of future am I going to give him, if I continue down this road? So, my friend turned me on to precious metals, and I started stacking. And, seeing my father with, real estate and buying houses and flipping them and running his flooring business and the ways he made money and investing, I pretty much followed in his footsteps doing the same thing with precious. Well, my dad doesn't stack precious metals, but in other ways. And then my friend actually turned me on to precious metals on top of that. So I started stacking just a little over 18, almost 19 years old. So I've been stacking for 9 years, and I haven't stopped ever since, and I don't plan on stopping.
That's awesome. That's a better part of a decade. That's really good.
The thing is I've had several people say to me, I'm sure each of you guys have too, because both of you guys stack just as hard, if not harder than I do. People say, man, well, I'll never have as much as you. And what people don't understand is it's not a fucking race. It's not about who can stack the most silver, who can stack the most gold. It's about you go at your own pace and you do it as your budget allows you to do it. And you do what you can do to better your position, even if it's a fucking ounce of silver a month. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
That's still an ounce of silver more than a lot of other people in this nation or even the world have stashed away for them in case of a financial collapse. Not that would ever happen, but
I agree with you, Triple P. With the whole, there's people I see that that only can afford, an ounce of gold, ounce of silver a month, and then there's people that are buying 10 ounces of gold a month. But as long as you're stacking and you have that mindset of taking the little funds you have after your priorities are paid or whatever, after you do your priorities for the month or the week, and you have a little extra 30-40 bucks laying around, you put it into silver or gold or whatever, you're in the right mindset. So And everyone's different. You know, people stack differently. People have different jobs, different, you know, incomes. But as long as you're stacking, in my opinion, you know, you're on the right path.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
not only
Definitely.
that, you know, with you got to think of it this way too. When I talk to people and I say, "Oh, I've only have 100 ounces of silver and I've been stacking for so many years, but I can't afford it." Well, think about all the people that don't have silver or gold. You know what I mean? We're a small community, a small percentage. There's not many people out there that, you know, stack gold or silver, or even know that you could stack gold or silver. So just even if you have 1 ounce of silver, or 5 ounces, or 100 ounces, or 2,000 ounces, 85% of Americans don't even have that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, it's I see those comments a lot, and comparison is the thief of joy. Just focus on you. Do what you can do. Don't worry about anyone else. I mean, there's people that are probably stacking kilos. There's tons of people who are stacking way more than me every month. Good for them. You know, that's all I have to say. I'm worried about me and mine.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
That's it.
yeah, that's exactly it. And everyone starts stacking for a different reason. Like I've always thought I was prepared because I had, you know, a fair amount of guns and ammo. And then everyone lost their mind over fucking toilet paper, you know, at the beginning of 2020. And I realized, holy shit, I'm not prepared at all. So then I got into prepping and of course, like stashed a whole shit ton of food and medical supplies and water, et cetera, et cetera. Got my plans together for me and my family. Then I started thinking, well, probably from what I can see, the most likely thing that's going to happen is a financial collapse. The Fed is fucking off their rocker. This is not going anywhere good. And that's how I got into gold and silver, because it was basically the next logical step forward from prepping for me. And since I started stacking 2 years ago, and I know Campbell's Coins, you chime in on this a lot. You make a lot of videos on this, and every one of them is amazing. Um,
Thank you.
the way that the financial system is going in this country, it can't hold up. We cannot continue to operate like this before something gives. I feel like right now we're on that fucking bull inside of the bullpen at the rodeo, and he's bucking and he's trying to throw you off his back. And it's just a matter of time until that gate springs open and all hell breaks loose. So, you know, I've never seen things this bad in my life. And I know probably neither one of you has either. Where do you see this going, Campbell's Coins, and what do you think our time frame is?
That's a good question, man.
Oh my God.
Good question.
Let me pull out my crystal ball. Well, I can tell you, look at how long they've kept this circus going. It's been 12 years, no, 14 years since 2008 financial crisis. They called that a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
14 years. They've been able to keep this crap show going for that long. And all they do is they keep printing more money, and they rebrand it. You know, it's not a bailout. Before, during the financial crisis, they called it a bailout of the banks, right? And do you remember like the outcry from most of the population? People were pissed. Like, why are we bailing out these banks? Why not let them fail? You know, and they're like, oh, they're too big to fail, blah, blah, blah. Well, they wised up to that. Now they rebrand everything. They give it like little acronym names, TARP, you know, Twist, all sorts of like names of like, that's them dumping money into something else, buying up treasury bonds. It's so, I mean, they can keep this party going for as long as possible. And I think it won't really, like, we won't see the poop hit the fan until most of America wakes up to like something isn't right. I think they're starting to. I'm serious. I think they're just starting to, because I mean, as for you and I, or we've seen all this happening for years. We see that there's something wrong, but other people are just waking up to this and going, "Holy crap, something's wrong." And you know, so it could be tomorrow, or it could be 10 years from now. I give it 5 to 10 years. It could happen, whatever. It's whenever people wise up to what's going on. And the more that they continue these socialist policies of like, you get money for doing nothing. Oh, do you want to stay at home? Here's $2,500 a month. Sit there, eat your McDonald's, do whatever. Just don't work. As long as they keep doing that, people won't wise up to it. But eventually, it can't. It's unsustainable, like Triple P was saying. It just can't keep going on that way. So eventually, it will just either collapse on its own, or it will collapse from people realizing that this is not not good.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I remember I was young in 2008, and I remember seeing my parents and friends of the family, or just friends going through that hard time. Matter of fact, my uncle had his flooring business, but he was so slow that he had to shovel snow from some company in the wintertime in 2008, 2009. When you
Yeah.
get older and you start understanding it, what happened, I'm like, I couldn't imagine that I would live through anything like that. I couldn't picture that happening for, until I'm long gone. And here it is, late 20s, and we're living through it. And luckily, I've been staying busy, and I've, other ways to make money. But and I'm prepared. But it's gonna crash, and when it does, it's gonna crash hard, and there's gonna be a lot of people in a screwed up situation.
Yeah. I'm glad I lived through that at that time, because it gave me something that I don't think a lot of people have, and that's perspective.
Yeah.
When that was all going down, I was just graduating college, and do you know how many job offers I was getting? 0.
Yeah.
I was literally working at a minimum wage job right out of college, and I thought, I'm like, man, what? I'm such a loser, like I can't even get like a job, and I'm working, minimum wage job at Big Five. The hours weren't enough because they couldn't, they weren't giving enough hours to people. So I ended up getting a job at a gun store like 5 months later. And I just took whatever position I had open. I'm like, if you need a receiver, I'll be receiving. If you need me as a cashier, I'll do cashier. And it was literally anything. And what was really interesting is at that time, the number of retired people coming into that store applying for a job like a year after I had started. Like they were retired, but they could no longer live on that retirement because everything had gone, like their entire plan had gone to crap. And now they're starting fresh at 65, 70.
Yeah. No. That's another thing that leads to, the older generation, the retiree generation. Yeah, it's, back in the day, you'd retire, you had something to look forward to, and not today. First of all, they keep on upping the age. What's next? What's the next 5 years? It's going to be 75, your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then, even back in the day with savings accounts, you would gain interest, and you did pretty well. And then you had bonds that were actually bonds, and you actually did well with them. But, today the bonds are crap. Today savings accounts, bank accounts are crap. Everything's just screwed up.
Yeah, I don't even trust the banks anymore. I prefer to be my own bank. And to each their own. I've got plenty of friends that have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, and they're completely comfortable with it. That just doesn't make me warm and fuzzy. So I mean,
No.
there's just a lot better ways that I think you can make your money work for you than let it sit in a fucking savings account earning 0 interest and being at risk, in my opinion, of being a victim of a bank collapse.
Yeah.
Let's say it wasn't making any sort of interest, whether you had it in the bank or you had it outside the bank. I'd still rather have it outside the bank. And I think a lot of people, in this next crisis, they're going to realize that. They're like, God, I wish I didn't store everything in the bank, because the banks are going to close for an untold amount of time. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a month. They won't be able to access their funds because the banks are going to be like, just, it's happened. It happened in '08. It happens so regularly that people don't notice. They shrug it off. They're like, oh, well, it's a slight inconvenience. Well, they won't realize that the next inconvenience is going to be pretty big.
Yeah.
Possibly a lot bigger than they're prepared to deal with.
Yeah, you remember when I was telling you about a couple months ago how I went to the bank and I pulled everything out of my savings, and you remember that when I told you that? Bud?
Yes.
Yeah. So I pulled everything out, and obviously, I have to keep my business account because I run a business. That's how I pay my bills. It goes into the account, pay the bills with it, write it off. So I kept the funds in that, obviously, but I cleaned out my savings. I cleaned out our personal check-ins accounts, and like I said, for savings, I have precious metals. Obviously, I have cash stored away. And then, for long-term savings, I put money into investment accounts, Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs. My business has a SEP account, and that's what people should be doing. They should be taking their money and putting it in places where they can make money. Yes, there's risk of losing it all. You can lose it all. That's the only downside. But that's why if you stack gold or silver, you have your conservative investment, and then you have your risky investments. And that's, what I've been doing, and it works good for me. I'm not saying for anyone not to have anything in the bank. Obviously you need to have something. Nothing crazy, but, something to pay your bills, to have, if you were to buy a house and want to see money in your bank account. But, yeah, I know people like Triple P was saying that has hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, and you're not making anything on that, and you're losing it every day. You're losing money out of that account every day. The number stays the same, but the buying power, you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
I personally am proud that I never have more than $5,000 in the bank. I wear that as a badge of fucking honor on my chest because I get paid and I immediately just go online, pay all of my bills, my living expenses, which the only bill that we really have is our mortgage on our home. We're completely debt free except for that. And then your standard stuff like your cable bill, your light bill. And as soon as I do that, I go and funnel the money into other places. I will never have more than $5,000 sitting in my bank because if I lose $5,000, it's not going to crush me. I don't care. It'll suck, but I'd rather trust my money in other places than trust it sitting in the bank. But that's just me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
to people that have that irresponsible spending habit, when you're putting it into precious metals, it's more difficult to spend. It's not impossible, but it's more difficult to spend. You can't just go use your debit card, that afternoon to go buy something. You're like, oh crap, I don't have the money in the account. But it creates like a fiscal responsibility just by having it stored in precious metals, and actually getting your money out of the bank would help with that too. Just because if you're keeping it with cash, maybe not, but definitely with physical precious metals.
Well, it's too easy. You carry a debit card around in your wallet that's linked to your checking account, right? And literally you walk by something in the store and you're like, hey, I think I need that. So you toss it in the cart at the Target or at the frickin' Best Buy or wherever, and you just swipe your card and you take it home. It's too easy to fucking spend that. But if you only have, a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s in the bank, makes you think, well, if I really want that, how am I going to get the money to do that? Well, I guess I could put it on a credit card and pay 20% interest. That's probably a pretty bad fucking idea. Or I guess I could go sell some gold or silver. Well, that's a really bad fucking idea. So it makes you second guess yourself. You put it perfectly, Campbell. It makes you second guess what you're going to do if you really need that or not. Like this right here, I don't know if you guys noticed this Easter egg or not. I just got this back in the mail.
Beautiful.
Remember that old Lynx coin?
Yeah.
Got back my PR70.
Lucky.
This is an absolutely beautiful thing to hold in your hand. Do you really think that I would want to go and cash this in for a couple thousand or even, I think Mrs. Triple P looked on eBay. I think she said these in the 70 are going for like $3,000 or 3,200. Well, it's not for sale. I love that thing. I don't want to get rid of it. I love that thing. It literally makes you second guess whether or not you need this ridiculous big screen TV that you're going to buy just because you walked past it. It eliminates a lot of your impulses.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to because you get attached to that your metals also, so it's a lot harder to just go ahead and sell it for crappy fiat cash to buy something stupid.
Very true.
Well, and Amazon created a whole generation of shopping addicts. It's so easy to just
my wife
turn on your phone, hit add to cart, and then it's there the next day, and then your credit card bill. You're like, what the hell? I'm just buying cheap Chinese junk. All of that shit on there is cheap Chinese junk. It's turned into a giant Chinese corporation that just fucking makes it out of this factory, just pumps out junk after junk, and you're like, at the end of the day, what do you have? You have just plastic Chinese junk. That's it.
Hey, can you hold on? Let me get my wife. Maybe you can talk some sense to her. There's a fucking 5 or 10.
Was going to be an intervention, did he?
It's 6 or 7 packages daily at my freaking doorstep.
Well, you know what, bro? You know what you need to do is you need to stick the metals in her hand and let her actually hold it. You need to let the magic.
What I need to do is take the credit card out of her hand. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Amazon is ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, we've all ordered from Amazon. They have some things that we need and this and that. It's convenient sometimes. But yeah, no, they're like number one company in the world, man. Back before, 5-10 years ago, Walmart was the store, Walmart, Target. And now it's Amazon. And I noticed, around Christmas time, you go Christmas shopping, and it was, fun to go Christmas shopping, picking out things. And now there's no one in the stores. It's just a click of a button. Everything gets to your house, soon it's making people more lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I see that a lot, this whole online thing. And now they're working on Amazon dropping packages off with drones instead of driving them.
How long it's those fuckers in my freaking Airbus.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I laugh. I've seen them. It's almost happened before. It's gonna get nuts.
Yeah.
Well, until it actually causes an accident, nothing will be done about
that. So it has happened before. I mean, it'll damage the airplane, but it's not going to bring down 170,000 pound airliner hitting this little 1 or 2 pound drone. But it'll definitely it'll take a chunk out. It'll do some damage.
Yeah, would you think you would have to land the plane after something like that? Would that be like protocol?
So every situation is different. That's not stuff that you even train. I mean, you don't train for a midair collision. You don't train for a chunk of your airplane to fall off. When shit like that happens, you're a test pilot. That's what separates the men from the boys. That's where your stick and rudder skills come in. You do what you can with what you have left. And at the very end of the day, if I ever go down in a plane crash, they're going to have to take my cold, dead corpse and peel my hands off of those controls, because I will be fighting it all the way to the bitter end. And that's how life is. You don't fucking quit. No matter what happens, no matter how bad things seem, you never let go and you never quit.
I love that.
Great attitude, man. Well, that's like that. You remember in 2009 when what was his name? But he hit. He landed the freaking plane right in the Hudson. Now that's what you call a talented pilot.
Bullshit.
You don't think so?
Thoughts on that? I disagree with you 100%, bro.
Why is that?
So, landing a plane in the water, I am confident that any one of the first officers that I fly with on a daily basis could have done just as good of a job as Sully. Not to take anything away from Sully, because he was dealt a shit sandwich. But in the grand scheme of things, people put him up on this pedestal like he is God's gift to aviation. And at the end of the day, he was just a standard pilot, just like every other pilot of every other airplane that you board any other day in your life. Let's compare him to example to Captain L. Haynes. How many of you remember United Sioux City, Iowa? I forget the flight number. That DC-10 that lost all hydraulics.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I believe, in the late 80s that like 100 people died and 200 lived. In fact, Captain L. Haynes just died, like, I think about a year ago. What he pulled off, even though a third of the people on board died, nobody should have been able to survive that incident. They recreated that scenario in the simulator with pilot after pilot after pilot after pilot. And guess how many pilots actually survived that scenario in the simulator?
None of them.
None.
Not one fucking pilot survived.
What was this guy's name?
L. Haynes.
And what was this?
Triple
was
P, you have to think of it though. Think of the times, and I'm not giving any credence to one thing or another, but think of like where we live. We're living in the United States, where they use certain stories to either try to bring up, like a population. It's kind of like gladiator games. You're trying to distract people. What is going on in 2009? We're in the midst of the financial crisis, so they're trying to distract you with as much shit as possible, so you don't see that the whole place is on fire. So they're gonna, oh great, look, this happened over here. Look at everything's fine over here. Everyone survived. Everyone's great, and this is like an impossible landing, versus if it had happened, during Trump's time, would that have been like broadcast as much?
Nope, it would have been like a 5-minute clip, and that was it.
Exactly.
That is actually a phenomenal point, and that I can't disagree with that at all. That's an excellent point.
That brings me to this whole thing with Russia and Ukraine and COVID. They were just talking about COVID. Oh, new variants, bad, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, Russia goes into Ukraine. Now COVID disappears. You know what I mean? It's weird. You know what I mean? And plus with inflation, now they're just worried about Russia and Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine.
Well, that's because our potato in chief has handled the pandemic so well.
Yeah. Yeah. Sippy Cup Joe.
On to the next scandal or the next distractor or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes his ice cream, man.
He likes his kids too. Fucking sniffing their hairs and their shoulders and shit, giving fucking 9-year-olds shoulder massages. He's a weirdo, man. Did you see that one clip of him in the pool? Or he was talking about him in the pool, how the kids come up and rub his hairy legs.
Oh, well.
Did you see that?
That's
clip?
just his brain melting on camera, dude. I think he meant something else, but that's just his mental decline happening right before our eyes. Because everyone in that crowd is like, "What the fuck are you saying right now?"
Well, did you guys just see him not even a month ago shaking hands? Fucking Ghost on stage, like
yeah.
No,
you know what I'm talking about? He turns.
Yes, I do. He like turns around and he like shakes his hand, then like turns around to like someone else. He's like, "Oh, nobody's here."
and then sometimes he thinks he's on a game show. He thinks he's playing Jeopardy.
It is really sad that they are allowing someone like Biden to be president instead of saying like, if this was Trump, and I'm like I don't care who you're for, but if this was Trump, they would have like 26th Amendment. You got to be you're mentally like incapable of running this office, so you got to go. But because Biden's a Democrat, I mean, he could fall over on stage dead, and then they're going to do like a Weekend at Bernie's thing where they have like these like puppet arms and he's just waving at people with his ice cream cone.
They'll get him. What do they call it? A taxidermied.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really sad to see. I mean, just take politics aside. It's really sad to see, like we're watching someone's mental health decline right on camera.
I feel bad for him. I honestly feel bad for the guy. You know what I mean? Despite I can't stand these radical liberals, and I'm lean heavily to the right. But like you said, without politics, besides politics, as a person, and as him as a person, we all got to stick together. I honestly feel bad for the guy. It's sad because, some people have grandparents that they see that happen with, or even their parents. They just lose memory and you forget what they say. And sometimes, and then they forget and it's,
my grandpa had Alzheimer's, and it's like that. You're talking to him, and then he'll, like 5 minutes later, he'll like start the conversation all over again, like right from where you had started.
Yeah. And you know what really sucks is you see some of these videos on Facebook, and like this daughter trying to make her mom remember, and she doesn't remember. She just thinks it's a friend that comes and visits once in a while, and they have to start fresh every day. Mm-hmm. And then 1 minute she remembered her, and she called her by her name, and she started crying. The daughter started crying and was so happy. And then they were talking about memories, and then all of a sudden, blank. Who are you?
Restart. Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Nurse, come get her. She's scaring me. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad. It really is. And that's what's going on with him. Despite what they say or not, he's clearly in the early stages of Alzheimer's, and he's losing it.
Here's a funny thing, but it's also 100% factual. I have a very close acquaintance of mine who is a former Secret Service agent, and this
Dan Bongino.
No comment, right?
No comment. The Secret Service agent did presidential protection, and one of the things that his duties entailed was going to the Capitol Pharmacy to fill prescriptions for many of our elected representatives, senators, and even the vice president and the president. Here's the funny fact. What do you guys think the number one medical disorder for our elected leaders in Washington, D.C. is?
Alzheimer's.
Correct. My first guess was erectile dysfunction. I'm like, they got to have.
That's just because that's where your mind goes.
And my buddy's like, no, that's actually the second most common.
Really?
Yes, it really is. It's the second most common.
They got Viagra on like the call,
Yes. Blue pills are running rampant across Capitol Hill. But no,
think about it. If we were doing like a job interview right now for any sort of business out there, would you be hiring a 78-year-old? I don't know how old Biden is. He's 78, 82.
I think he's like 78 or 79.
Yeah. So would you be hiring a 79-year-old? No, we would view them as you're retired. You're on the downslope of your life. Are you mentally capable of doing this?
Yeah.
Those questions would come into mind, but for an elected leader, it's like no problem. We get the slowest, roundest potato into office. Here you go.
Yeah. It makes no sense. The only time I see people in that age still working, they're fucking working at Walmart on the stool when you first walk in, and they say, "Welcome to Walmart," or they're at your hospital's desk when you walk in. You know what I mean? Greeting you or some shit like that, just to stay busy. You know what I mean? Just to get out of the house for a little part-time jobs. You know what I mean? Something. It's not about the money at that point. It's just for them to get out of the house and stay in shape. Keeping their mind going.
You guys know that airline pilots are required to retire at age 65, right?
Oh yeah, and just like COs.
Yes,
but it makes sense.
It's mandatory retirement. So when I turn 65 in 17 and a half years from now, even if I am in the best shape of my life, and I can still hold my medical qualifications to fly, I still have to hang up my airline wings on my 65th birthday. And if I want to go out and fly corporate on, like some Learjet or some Beechjet or something like that, I can do that if I still want to stay flying. But as far as actual airline flying goes, 65 and out. You're
Yeah,
done.
because you're at higher risk. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with my buddy. He was well, my father's buddy. He's like an uncle to me. He was a CO for 31 years, and he would have kept on going. He wanted to go, but he worked for Federal. 57, they kicked him out. They said, we can't have you anymore. 57, that's it. Originally, they were going to kick him out at 55, but they let him stay. I guess they passed new law. It was 57 or something like that. But day of his birthday, 57, they kicked him out.
Your
And that's a lot
mental
of jobs.
your mental agility doesn't increase as you age. You know, like
No.
I mean, it's sad to say, but it does decline. And so, I mean, you can't. It's just stupid that we do this. I mean,
So
we should have the same thing for office. If you're like age 65, you know, just like airline pilots, you can't be in office because you can make decisions better than someone who's in their 50s, but you know, just because not everyone's the same. Not everyone is like, for instance, Triple P, your example of, oh, I have to retire at 65. Well, there could be someone at 55 who has their mental degradation has gone down so much that they're still like so far behind the 65-year-old that, you know, they would be incapable at that point. But we should put a limit on there, like 65, no more.
well,
And we don't.
let's put a limit after 2024. You know, let's see who gets in. Hopefully Trump. If he gets in, then when his term is over, then we'll put a limit. Because that's what they'll do after Biden, just before election, they'll put a limit. So if Trump were to run again,
Yeah,
he
that's
would
an
get
interesting
elected.
theory.
Because you know he's a, and that's the funny thing too. Trump, it just shows how everyone's different and how you take care of yourself or whatever. But I don't know if you guys ever looked on YouTube and people were doing like, let's eat like President Donald Trump for the day, and he drank like 12 cans of Diet Coke. He had a Big Mac every day. Like he ate like shit. And, you know, he's not skinny. You know, he's not like Joe Biden. You know, he's kind of chubby. But the guy is sharp. He is smart. You know, I had to remind myself, you know, watching him on TV, that this guy's, you know, the same age as my grandmother. You know, a little younger. But he was, you know, sharp. He knew what the hell he was doing.
You also have to take into account he's got access to some really wonderful drugs that will up that mental acuity.
Yeah, that's
so
true. You know,
he's
a
probably pumped full of vitamins like
Yeah.
on a daily basis, to the point where, I mean, it's no different than his COVID care. He was in and out of the hospital like in a few days.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if someone else were to get, nobody else is getting that same sort of treatment, you know, at that time. They were just like, oh, well, you're just gonna have to suffer for a few more days.
Yeah.
But he's got the bucks to, you know, keep that going.
Yeah, no, he's a
That party going.
multi-billionaire. He's gonna be able to you know, afford that. We'll look at that basketball player there. What's his name? Magic Johnson. He has AIDS, and he's still alive because of the medication. He's got the money to afford the treatment.
Well, everyone knows you just inject cash. I don't know if anyone else gets that reference.
That's a good point. Maybe I should start doing that.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, no, it's crazy. You know, this guy is running our country, and his, you know, and then you got the second in command, which is Nancy Pelosi, and she's just as screwed up in the head, if not worse, than Biden.
Third in command.
You got
third.
Kamala Harris and stuff, but you all know who's second in command. You know Nancy Pelosi. She's honestly probably the first in command over the president, because you know he's so screwed up that you think most of his talking.
Have you seen those videos where he's like, they told me not to say this, but I'm going to say this anyway? It's like, are you reading off of, like, do you have your own set of notes that they say? I actually think that I don't know, like, sometimes you question some of these things. You go like, is that real? Is it, you know, like that type of misinformation where somebody is like photoshopping notes on a card, or is it like, don't talk about ice cream? But it's literally like one of the notes that he had was like, don't talk about this, say this in conversation. It was like bullet points of like, do this, do this, do this. And you kind of wonder like, okay, how real is that? But at the same time, when you see like how he is on stage, you're like, Jesus Christ, you're shaking your hands with like some nobody, some Civil War vet, you know, you're like, yeah. That dude died 100 years ago.
I honestly feel like watching some of this shit is like watching some
Just
comedy
laugh.
theater. It doesn't even like real life is funnier than the comedy in the fucking movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, there was another clip of him, and he was doing one of his, you know, talks or speech or whatever, and he gets into, you know, his weird whispering. He starts to freaking whisper, and then he turned around, and in his hands, both of his fists were clenched with his thumbs up, like he had buzzers in his hand, like he was about to play Jeopardy. Yeah, he's just
that one.
I gotta find a clip and send it to you guys, but man, I was laughing. And then he started whispering again, you know. And you know, another thing that I noticed with him, his freaking eyes, they're like beady freaking eyes, small little freaking peas in his head. He's just a weird dude, weird and crazy, and you know, you can thank him for what we're going through right now.
Well, and unfortunately, if something were to happen to Joe, the hoe camel toe ain't going to be much better.
No, she's even worse. She's even more radical.
I think that if something were to happen to Joe during his first 4, which is very possible, they're going to tell Kamala to step down. They're going to put Nancy or somebody else in that position. They're not going to. Kamala's not going to. They know she's bad. But
Nancy or Chuck Schumer.
It's the thing. It's not going to be Pelosi, Campbell, because I think we may have a fairly big red wave at the midterms, and then she'll no longer be Speaker of the House.
It's true.
I pray for that. So
yeah,
bad.
I mean, I think they're going to insist on keeping Camel Toe as being second in command, or they lose control.
Oh yeah. Well, they already
you know that
that
they could do that now. I mean, they can start that process now before the midterms hit. That way, she's, you know, de facto.
Right. I mean,
that point
they could.
But you're totally right. You're totally right.
They could 25th Amendment his ass, which I think is still a very realistic possibility.
Yeah. I was watching.
The media's already turning on him. Like before, they were just like giving him all the ice cream in the world and softball questions, and now they're actually more critical of him, which is nice. But I think they're not doing it because they, you know, they're trying to be these like really good journalists. I think they're doing it because they're trying to turn on him because in a way they are trying to change public opinion.
They want someone more radical. They want someone even more radical in office. They want AOC or Nancy or that Maxine Waters or those Jihad Squad. You know, that they want someone radical. They want a Bernie Sanders. You know, Joe Biden.
I don't think they want a Bernie because the last 2 primaries, they completely effed him over. I mean, he won both those primaries in 2016 and in 2020. And each time he got like the fist without the lube. He was, I mean, it was like just rammed in there. And he, like, if out of every single politician out there, if I was Bernie Sanders, I would be pissed. Like, you ruined my chance over this. Like, I don't care for his politics. Not everything he says is stupid. Not everything he says is great at all. But damn, he got effed over, and it was Hillary who told him to like step aside, and then it was Biden. So I don't think they want. I think they want more out there. Someone more out there. AOC can't run. She's too young.
She's she's, you know, what's it, 35 or
36, 35,
yeah, no, she but what I think they want, you know, because even though Biden is radical, you know, he's pretty radical, but he's still kind of a modern, moderate Democrat, you know what I mean? But I think they want someone more, you know, more AOC type, you know, and there's a lot of them out there.
Well, you know, there's a couple of schools of thought. I mean, if we look back to the 70s and the 80s, it was widely accepted, actually, that Jimmy Carter was the worst president that we ever had up to that point in U.S. history. And we had to have a Jimmy Carter in order to get a Ronald Reagan elected. So, you know, trying to think positively, maybe, just maybe, we had to have a Joe Biden to get hopefully the next wonderful, great president elected who can make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's like Obama. We had his shit for 8 years, and then we got Trump. And don't get me wrong, there's things about Trump that I disagreed with, certain things, not as his policies or anything, but just with the Twitter thing and shit like that. But by hands down, if you ask me who were the greatest presidents, I'm going to say Lincoln, Reagan, and Trump.
I don't know. Trump offended me. He made me want to go into my safe space.
Yeah, no, that's he offended a lot of people, but you know what? He made good on his promises, and he built this country from crumbles. You know what I mean? He turned this country around, and it's sad because you've seen how good this country was going. It was getting back on its feet. Things were going well. Countries were like China and Russia were scared of us. They didn't want to screw with us. We had China paying us back. We were 90% efficient. And now look at us. And what's it been, a year and a half with this clown?
You guys may laugh at me or you may agree with me, but I'll be honest with you on who I think would be probably one of the greatest presidents we ever had, that would probably rival the next Abraham Lincoln or the next Ronald Reagan. And I don't want this man to run. I really don't, because I don't want him to leave my state. You're correct. So there's a little bit of selfishness in there, but Ron DeSantis, I think, would be one of the best presidents that we probably ever had if he got elected.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's an outstanding governor, and he sticks it to those people in Washington. That's for sure. He's awesome. I remember when we were in Fort Lauderdale for a honeymoon. You guys remember a couple months ago, there was tankers outside of California that weren't unloading for I don't know what reason, but they weren't unloading. And DeSantis said, bring your tankers down to us and we'll unload it and we'll use the shit.
Yep.
And that's what they did. And while I was in Fort Lauderdale on the coast there, right on the beach, we looked out our balcony and there it was. 5, 6, 7 tankers, what we could see, going into the port to unload. So he cares for the people of Florida, and not only that, America. And I think he would be a great, great president.
Oh, and hands down, 100%.
And I've heard rumors, but rumors are rumors, but that would be cool. That would really be awesome if he were to run.
He says that he's not planning on it, but I have some reason to think that his views may change between now and then. We'll see what happens. But with the ports,
I don't think he's going to run. I think he's like a very competent governor, and what he did shows like, hey, this is how a real governor runs a state. I'm in California, so I see how you're not supposed to do things. Every day is a living example of like, this is how you should not be a governor. But I don't think he will, because you guys are talking about Trump running. He's not going to. People like Ron DeSantis, but they're not going to vote for him over Trump. So at most, I can see him being a running mate. I can see Trump picking him as VP.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
That's what I was saying. That's what I heard. I heard the rumors that Trump was going to run again, and DeSantis was going to be a VP, and I thought that would be an awesome lineup. But you're right. If Trump were to run again in 2024, the majority of conservatives are going to vote for him. Don't get me wrong. You're going to have your moderate Republicans that weren't liked Trump's policies, but didn't like a lot of things also. They might lean a different way and say, hey, we don't need another Trump. We want more like another Reagan or something like that. But you know, I think Trump really put the backbone to the Republican Party, to the Conservative Party, and actually gave them balls. But as soon as he leaves, you know, they lost him again. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't know. You know, it's all I know is that, you know, the most important election is 2022, November midterms.
Yes.
If we can get back the House and the Senate, you know, then they can't pass shit.
You got to handcuff him for the last 2 years of President Potato.
Yeah, because you guys remember, well, you guys were probably kids, but when Reagan, his first term, the House and was Democrats. So it was hard for him to do anything those first 4 years. He couldn't really pass anything. Everything was voted down. Everything was voted, you know, no or nay or whatever the hell they say. But then when midterm second election came, they won the House and everything, and he was reelected. And then that's when he started doing the work that he's known for today. So, yeah, I'm just hoping that 2022 will be good to us because we definitely need it.
Yeah, it's things are definitely moving in the wrong direction. We need something to change here quick.
Yeah, 100% agree. So enough with politics. Campbell, now when you stack silver and gold, what do you stack more of? Coins for gold or bars? Silver bars, silver coins, generics?
For gold or for gold, silver?
For both. For gold, what do you stack for gold mostly, and silver? And when it comes to gold coins or bars, do you prefer U.S. Mint, Royal Canadian Mint, the Royal Mint?
Yeah, so recently I did a couple of videos covering these because I mean everyone and their mom that has the stacking channel talks about like the best gold to buy, the best silver to buy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize that the information that they're giving, they like those individuals think that they're giving information that is just like set in stone, and that's what it is going to be going forward. But times change, and that was the point of my video last week. The silver that I was telling everyone to buy a couple years ago is not the silver I'm telling them to buy now. American silver eagles were great a couple years ago because the premiums were low, but now they're not. So I'm staying away from silver eagles. I don't like, as Triple P puts it, her ugly mugliness. But damn, dude, the Canadians are putting out some really good shit. Like,
oh yeah,
their stuff is it's mass production shit, and they're putting out some really good stuff. Like I don't know of a coin that has better quality right now than the new Maple Leafs.
I agree with
Just
you,
because
100%.
I don't see them covered, like marred up, covered in marks, dings, dents, whatever.
Yeah.
And now they have like the mint shield technology, so there's no milk spots. I mean, that's always great. So
And it's 4.9's fine.
yeah. I mean, so I can look past her royal mugliness, and I can look past that and just go, you know, they put out a damn good coin. So for gold, I'm doing mostly coins. Bars I'll do like occasionally. It's not really my forte, just because it doesn't do anything for me.
Yep.
And the people, I don't know why, it just doesn't. For silver, it's coins and bars. I love, like, kilos are my favorite. I love kilos. That's a hefty chunk of metal right there.
Okay, what's your number one kilo brand to stack when out of the silver brands?
Same as us, same as us.
Germania?
No. I like Geiger.
Geiger, yeah. Geiger's yeah.
Like, but Geiger is so expensive that
high premium,
yeah. I think I just bought one like a month ago, and it's coming in this weekend, and I think I paid $9.29 for it, and that was a pretty good deal because most of the time they were like $34-$35 an ounce. But if I was like, if you know, budget was a concern, I would definitely go for Germania. And I know you guys probably feel the same way, but that Germania Mint from Monument Metals Oh my God, they teamed up. They're putting out some low cost bars that just look really good. They have a really good finish to them. They even wrap them. You know, like a whole lot of
Oh
bars are
yeah,
not wrapped, but they
and they come in a
wrap theirs.
box.
Yes. I mean, come on. For the price point, there's nothing better than germanium.
Absolutely. What I tell everybody.
I just got 2 of them in the last 2 weeks. I couldn't agree more. I love those Germania kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, what I tell people with germanium, and I say, you're getting high premium silver at generic cost. You know, the bar has a mirror finish, outstanding finish. It's 4.9 fine silver. It's not like your common generics 3.9 fine. It's wrapped in plastic. It's serialized, and not only that, they put it in freaking little boxes. You know, they're outstanding bars. And like you said, Monument Metals. I think they were selling like 10-ounce bars for $254. It was the cheapest bar you could get, and you know. And I posted it on Instagram just to, you know, let people know on the sale, and it was a smoking deal for an outstanding bar, one of the best bars out there in my opinion.
I totally agree. Yeah. And that's a great thing that I noticed too. Their kilo bars used to be 3.9 fine. And then in June or July of last year, they changed up their process. So now they're making 4.9 fine.
See,
And
I didn't know that.
You just don't see that. You see it maybe with like the Royal Canadian Mint. Their 10-ounce bars, I think, are 4.9s. And
Yeah.
maybe even their kilos are 4.9s. But they're most everyone else, including Geiger, who I love, is 3.9 fine.
Yeah. No,
I mean, does that extra point, decimal point do anything? Not really, but it's cool that they're doing it.
it's just the point, you know what I mean? It's it makes you feel like you're getting a nicer, you know, better bar, especially for the price.
Yeah.
Like exactly what you said. I don't know any other, you know, private mint that's making 4.9 fine silver, you know, other than your government bullion mints, like, you know, Royal Canadian Mint or the Royal Mint. You know, so it's really cool to see a 4.9 fine bar coming from, you know, a private mint.
And you know, the thing is that even when you go to some of the coin shops and you ask them what they're selling for lowest premium, their answer is always the same: generics, and you're going to pay about $5 over spot, right?
Yeah.
So you guys know T the Silver Stacker, all of his coin shop videos that he does.
All 5 over spot. Yeah.
That's what he's known for. That's what he does, and he does a great job at it. Every single coin shop, oh, generics $5 over spot, generics $5 over spot. Meanwhile, Monument Metals, and as much as I love supporting an LCS, which I do, but Monument Metals is selling these Germania kilos at like $2.99 an ounce over spot.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for me to buy generic rounds or generic bars or whatever for $5 an ounce over spot when I can get what I think is a high premium bar for $2.99 an ounce over spot. That's crazy. And oh, by the way, while I mentioned T the Silver Stacker, I literally patriotic. I just got confirmation from him on my Apple Watch just now.
For next Tuesday.
He'll be joining us next week.
Awesome, guys. For that.
So yeah, we'll have T on for next Tuesday night Trash Talk. And yeah, his coin shop videos are awesome, but they're all the same. The coin shops are all doing the same thing: $5 an ounce over spot for generics. And if you shop around, and I've been pimping these Germania bars forever now, and some people have caught on and some people haven't. But for me,
we probably should say that we're not sponsored by Germania Mint. At least I'm not. Are you?
We should.
Yeah,
we should. We talk about them enough.
None of us.
We're just saying, like, they put out such a good product. You know, you guys should go get this. It's amazing. I think it's for the price point, the quality, what you're getting. You can't beat it. And I don't. Have you guys picked up their 10-ounce bars recently?
Oh, I love their 10-ounce bars. You guys, you like the kilos and stuff. My sweet spot. I'm like my buddy Savage Stacker. We love our 10-ounce bars. That's my sweet spot. I don't stack 5-ounce, 1-ouncers. Only 10-ounce bars, kilos, and 20-ouncers. But mostly 10-ounce bars. So I just bought, I think 4 10-ounce bars off Monument Metals 2 days ago. But their bars are beautiful.
For 10 ouncers, I still go with Scottsdale's.
Oh, I that's would have to, Germania and Scottsdale is pretty much tied with me. Well, I don't know. I lean. It depends on the week and stuff because I love them both equally. They're Scottsdale. Some of their bars aren't serialized. Some of them are, and obviously all their bars are 3.9s fine. I don't think they do. They do a great job, and they're very unique, and they're one of my favorite brands to stack when it comes to silver bars. But I don't think they're at a Germania Mint's level. Especially they can't compete with the cost. Scottsdale's expensive. Those Scottsdale stackers, they're, on their website. Yeah, you don't have to pay tax, but they're like $310 to $315. Now they probably dropped, but I guarantee they're still over $300 easily.
Not only that, but like the time frame that you get them too. Like I can go out and get Germania Mint right now. Can I do that for Scottsdale?
No, you'd wait 2 weeks. You'd wait 2 weeks. You wait 2 weeks. Don't get me wrong. Lately I've been buying a lot from private dealers, private sellers, and mind you, reputable ones, not no random person that I don't know. But I've been lucky to get Scottsdale stackers for really cheap for like $285 to $290, and that's a smoking deal versus going to any bullion online retailer because again they're plus $300, and then you have online on their website, again no taxes, but you're spending, you're still spending over $300. And then you have to wait, about 2 weeks. Scottsdale, it takes a while for them to send their stuff out.
Yeah, that's the biggest drawback with them. That and the premiums. That's why I probably haven't bought any new 10-ounce stackers in probably almost a year. I've been more into the platinum, gold, and the silver kilos, and of course the 90% silver.
Yeah, no, that's another big thing of mine. How about you, Campbell? You big in the 90?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask him.
No, I'm about I would say less than 5% of my stack is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean it's a good size, but it's nowhere near, and it's mostly because like right now you have a high silver demand, but nobody's really buying Constitutional. I see it on Instagram all the time. Somebody throws up Constitutional, and they have to continuously lower the price to get someone to buy it. Yeah. And yeah, they're trying to like get a good deal out of it. They're trying to like sell for like 23x, face value. And I'm like, oh, that's really high. But in a low silver demand period, nobody wants this stuff. So it's only really good for this hypothetical, SHTF where you're using it to barter with. So I don't want the majority of my stack to be 90%. I like 90%. I mean, it's some of the first stuff that I grabbed, but it's not popular with a high silver demand, and it's not that popular in a low silver demand. And the prices on it, like right now, are insane. If you're trying to buy it online, it is insanely overpriced for what you're getting. Because I guarantee you, those coins are going to be really like the definition of junk is what they give you. Yeah,
no, I agree with you on when it comes to I'm big in the 90%, Constitutional. I a good portion of my stack, I would definitely not 5%, way over that. But that's something I would only buy at my LCS or like through a private dealer. I will never buy that stuff online because it's way expensive. But yeah, now if it came down to it, it's anywhere from $30 to $35 an ounce for 90% silver now. It's ridiculous. I remember, 5 years ago, like, when I first started stacking, even when I first started stacking, it was, you weren't really paying much of a premium for stuff. It was really cheap, and it was fun to stack.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I see where a lot of people are getting away from it. Where, what you're getting at, and the prices, and how it's harder to sell. I definitely agree with you there. That's something you would have to bring to an LCS to sell. Unless you're lucky and you sell it privately or on Instagram or whatever.
Or eBay.
But,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quick little mental math in my head. I'm at about 12%, 11 to 12% and 90% of my stack.
Yeah.
I would say that's a good size right there. Like 10 to 12% is a good amount, because you don't want to be overly in it, but you don't want to have none.
Right.
So I think that every stacker should own some 90% in dimes. My favorite are dimes and half dollars. Quarters are like an oddity, but I'll get them if I can get them cheap.
So now then I'm thinking, for each 100 phase bag of 90%, I believe that's 71 or 73 ounces of silver.
71.5, I believe.
Yeah, so I have just over 1,000 phase of constitutional. So, and I have about 5,000 ounces of silver. So yeah, no, I guess now that I'm thinking percentages, so 71 times.
If you've got, you said
10.
1,000.
So 71 times 10, that would be.
So you're at 20% roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little higher than your guys', but not that much. The majority of my stack are 10-ounce bars, kilo bars, and eagles. I have a lot of eagles, and that's from my early stages of stacking when it was cheap. It was pretty much when it was, good. Eagles and maples. Eagles and maples are a big thing that I stacked in the beginning. Not now, obviously, because of the premiums. And 10-ounce bars and kilo bars, but mostly 10-ounce bars. And then constitutional. That's the only stuff I'll stack. Yeah, I have poured pieces and collectible pieces. I have, my collection part of my stack, my Anglehards, Libertads, the Slab Morgans, PCGS Slab Morgans and stuff. But, I don't consider that part of the stack. That's more for collecting because they're way more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say bars, constitutional, and maples and eagles.
Where I'm lacking on my constitutional is halves. I've got quite a few Mercury dimes. I think I'm probably $80 or $90 face in Mercs, and probably like 120 or 130 in Washington quarters. But I have very few halves. That's what I need. I need more halves. That's the one thing in my constitutional that's lacking the most.
I love half dollars. Half dollars and dimes are my weak spot.
The walkers. Awesome.
Yep, that's my favorite. The walkers, and then for dimes, the Mercs. Now, I do wish that barbers were the same price, because I would be buying a lot of barbers if they were the same price as your common constitutional. I love barbers, and a lot of people can't stand the barber, but I like the design. I think it's really cool, and it reminds me of a smaller Morgan dollar.
And as long as we're talking about old coins, I am starting to get a bug in me now for some of the old US gold. I just
333.
Yeah,
333.
This weird bug in me for that pre-33 gold. Now I just picked up a great deal from SD Bullion last night, actually, on a $20 St. Gaudens double eagle in BU condition.
What year?
Very cool.
Random year.
Probably 1927 or 1910 or 1924.
And I think it was actually Campbell's Coin's last video where he actually said that SD Bullion had done quite a bit of improvement with some of the thumbnails and pictures they were using on some of their products.
Yeah.
And I thought this was just a phenomenal deal, so I snagged it.
So you know what I do when I buy pre-33? And I don't buy pre-33 $2 or $5 or $2.50 or $5, or I only stick to St. Gaudens and Liberties, $20 pieces, because I feel like I'm getting pretty much an ounce of gold, and it's your cheapest bet when you think of it, versus buying a $5 Indian for that's just, under a quarter ounce for $700.
Right.
So I buy my $20 gold pieces in BU condition, but I don't like them slabbed. I don't want them slabbed. So I like to see it and feel it before I purchase it. So I don't like buying pre-33 online. I go to my LCS for that.
Well, it can be tough too, because if you're buying off of like SD or any other website out there, they say BU, but you can get like a really nice BU, or you can get like a really, really harsh BU, like where it's barely clinging on to like that BU status. And
Yeah.
that's so I've been in that position where I got some like really nice ones buying online, and I got some really harsh ones. And I'm like, you know what? This is what I signed up for. I signed up for BU buying online, so I can't see it ahead of time. So I get what I get for doing this, and so that's why I buy my pre-33 at my LCS now.
Yeah, same with me.
I don't bother with online unless it's in a slab and
or
that grade is there. Yeah, or the actual picture.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me. Like, if it's a private seller that's selling it and you have the actual picture versus, buying from AppMex with 20 of those coins in stock and you don't know which one you're getting. You'll be looking at the picture and say, oh, that's the one I want. That's beautiful. That's perfect. There's not a ding or nothing. And you get one they say BU, but it's literally AU 58 or something,
Mm-hmm. No, and I think you were saying like you only get the $20.
Yeah, only $20.
I think that's the smartest plan if you're getting pre-33 and you don't really care about the collectability of it yet. But you're like, I like to have the old stuff, but I don't want to pay a whole lot. The $20 St. Gaudens or the $20 Liberty, that is your best bet because you're not going to. It has the lower premium compared to all the other stuff.
Yeah, and that's. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a great deal. So I mean, you brought up like a great point for new people. They're like, I want to get into this, but what can I do here? It's like get the $20 if you can afford it because they're expensive now. But
oh yeah, no, they're really expensive. I remember going in. It was actually my last gold purchase for 2021. It was December, just before January. I went to my LCS and I was going to buy a St. Gaudens. He called me up. He said, I have a beautiful MS63 non-slabs, no, not a 63, 62, I think. It was MS, non-slabbed. And he said, I got it here for you. And it's just under an ounce of gold. It's not much. It's like maybe a $30, $40 difference to make an ounce of gold.
It's 0.9674 troy ounces.
Yeah. Like
so I mean, it's basically there.
For example, like if gold spot right now is 18, what's it, 1870? No, maybe it's 19, I think today.
I think pumped a little bit and I think that's in anticipation for the Fed meeting that's going to be happening too.
Yeah. So I think it was like spot today was 1,900. So if I were to bring that to the LCS and sell it for a spot, like you'd give me spot for it or melt value, I would get probably high 17s, 17 and 1780. So it's not much of an ounce, under an ounce. It's pretty much, I look at them as, pretty much an ounce of gold, even though it's not. But, and, so I buy them for my stack, but they got to be a good price, but on average, you're spending, I would say $2,100 to $2,200 for a decent non-slabbed BU St. Gaudens.
Even an AU or a clean one, you're paying that much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You might as well just swing for the BU. It's only like honestly, it's like $20 or $30 more if I remember that correctly. But
I paid $249 over spot last night for that BU St. Gaudens.
So what was your final price on that? Would you walk out the door with it on that purchase?
I got to go look in my email, and I can't do that because I'm on my iPhone.
I think you sent me. You sent me a picture in the chat.
I want to say it was So here's the thing: I took your advice, and I did not for one of the first times.
Here comes the controversial comments.
Yeah, here it comes. Get ready, everybody. You're about to stone Triple P. For I think one of the first times ever I paid for this order. It was a $3,000 order, and I paid for it with a credit card. Now,
Gasp.
hold on.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Wait. Before you throw stones at me, I actually had this conversation with Patriotic Stacker offline, and he made a tremendous amount of sense. I went out and I got this Marriott Bonvoy Visa or MasterCard. I forget what it is. Anyways, if I spend $3,000 within the first 90 days of getting that card, I get like 150,000 points. So here's my theory. I paid for it with a credit card. I'm going to get my 150,000 points, which is equivalent to a minimum of 3 nights in a Marriott property, which is probably somewhere between $700 or probably around a $700 value. And I am going to pay off that credit card as soon as it posts. So when it posts, if I pay it off right away, I will not pay 1 penny in interest. Now, I have paid more money for the gold and that silver kilo I bought yesterday. That $3,000 order, I paid 4% more or 5% more. So I probably paid an extra $100 to an extra $150, right? But I'm getting back probably $700 in hotel rewards, and Mrs. Triple P and I do go out and do a lot of fun shit on occasion. So we actually do stay in hotels on our personal time. So this is something.
There's times when using a credit card is definitely really beneficial. And that's something that I think a lot of people mention, but it's just overall I don't think it's a good idea. But I use my credit card on eBay because there's coins I can't get anywhere else but eBay, and I'm sure as shit not going to use my PayPal or direct if I can get, if it's the same price, I'm using my credit card.
Yeah. So this is my point and what I brought to Triple P, and I do this with everybody. Now, obviously, cash is king. So when I go to my LCS, all my purchases is cash. But when I buy online, and I buy online a lot, all I use is my credit card.
All right, I'm back. I think my Wi-Fi glitched.
All right, you good?
Yeah, my
All right.
fucking Wi-Fi in my home.
So all I use is credit card when it comes to online. Once in a while, I'll do check wire, anything like that. But I would say 90% of the time, I use a credit card. Now, it can be the worst thing you ever did, or it can be the greatest thing you ever do. Now, some people, if I don't have the money to pay it, that credit card, that purchase, if I spend $10,000, if I spend $100 or $200 or $2, I'm not going to use it. But whatever I spend that month, if I spend $10,000, I'm going to pay it off before the due date every month. Every month, I'm not going to pay the minimum. I'm not going to say, okay, here's 1,000 out of 6. I pay it off. So if you're doing it that way, it's just as good as cash. Yes, you pay more money using a credit card online, for example, 3.5%, 4%. But if you have a good credit card like Discover Cashback, American Express, a lot of these travel cards, you get double that, triple that, 10 times that in cashback, in miles, in trips, in plane tickets, and bonuses and points that you can use for anything, for buying more gold or silver, for hotel stays. And people are like, well, it's more expensive using a credit card and stuff. Yeah, but if you have a good credit card and you pay off your monthly balance, it's going to do you better than if you were to use that cash.
But
and not only that, you build,
like you said, a good credit card. You got to have good credit.
And you got to have
a good credit card.
You got to have a good credit card. You can't use a freaking
Can't use my gas station card.
You can't use a like, for example, starting off, my friend, had shitty credit, and I got him a good starter credit card, Capital One Platinum, I think it was. No rewards, no cash back, anything like that. You get a limit. That's it. You spend that limit. You keep on paying off, then they increase you. but there's no bonuses, no points, no miles, nothing. It's just a standard credit card. Yeah, you know, as long as you paid off monthly, okay, that's good, but you're not getting any cash back or bonuses or anything like that. So in reality, you know, you're spending that extra money on a credit card. So I wouldn't recommend that, especially if it's just a regular plain old credit card. But you know, it can be beneficial for a lot of people if you're smart with it and you pay your monthly balance. But not only that, it builds your credit. If you don't have that good of a credit, or you know, you're still working on building your credit and establishing your credit, it builds your credit. And you know, in everyday life with everything I use is either cash in my pocket or my credit card. I never swipe my debit card. I don't use my debit card because I can swipe it as much as I want. I'm not getting anything. Not building my credit. I'm not, you know, making anything. You know, I'm just spending money in my bank and putting my banking information in more risk of getting hacked or whatever. And I don't know if any of you guys got hacked through your bank accounts, or you know, someone stole your card info. It takes forever to get your money back when going through a bank. So I think
don't have a debit card.
Yeah, debit cards are terrible. And if you
Yeah,
go on YouTube and have you can look up these interviews with these millionaires and billionaires, they tell you debit cards are the worst thing. And all we use is credit cards. We use other people's money and we pay it off on time, you know, every month. Not the minimum, whatever it is what you know, you pay it off. But you know, there's a lot of people that can't do that. You know, a lot of people rely on that credit card because it gives them monthly payments. So what? They'll pay an extra $5 a month on interest, or $10 or whatever, you know, because they need it for a pinch.
But you
if
have to be fiscally responsible or you're going to fuck yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do, you know, and if you're one of those people that has a credit card and says, "Oh, I don't have the cash on me, let me buy a piece of gold," and then you don't have the money to pay it when the 31st comes, or the first, and it's your due date. Now you're getting hit with an interest payment, and now that gold that cost you already $150 more by using a credit card, it's going to cost you $200, $300, $400 more. Each month you only pay the minimum, or you don't pay it at all, you're going to get hammered. So you know, there's pros and cons, but I think the pros outweigh everything, and outweigh the cons, in my opinion.
You know,
so I
you know,
agree. I agree with both you gentlemen, 100%. I mean, credit cards definitely have their merit, but as we started out this conversation, we were talking about how, like, when we first started, like I wasn't fiscally responsible. You know, like this, and so if you get into that mindset where you're using that credit card to just buy precious metals, then you're having to sell those precious metals or sell something else off to pay that credit card, or you just you buy too much. And I see so many people in the precious metals community who are still financially irresponsible, where they're using that credit card to pay for things because they want that instant satisfaction. They want to get it immediately, and that's the great thing about paying with a credit card. I mean, I love using the bank's money to go get something for myself and then paying them off like a month and a half later. I love that. But I think it also breeds that it feeds that need in our that some people just can't get rid of, and it over time that builds up where they become more dependent on it to the point where they're like, oh well, you know what, I could do a little bit more this month, and then they get themselves into a hole. So I've just seen it so much in the precious metals community where there are a lot of fiscally irresponsible people who overextend themselves time and time again, and they end up selling like their entire stack. And it's almost like a cyclical thing. They'll get stuff and then they just like flash sale. I need money right now. Or cash
I
really.
agree with you.
I see a lot of damn, dude. All you need to do is just like pace yourself. And it goes also, this goes all the way back to what we're talking about. Like, just focus on you. You know, I think a lot of people are focusing on other people. I mean, not in your guys' examples whatsoever, but a lot of people are like, oh, Billy over here got like 5 ounces. I need to get at least an ounce, even though, can I afford an ounce this month? No, but they're going to go out and do it. And then they're like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have done that. So I agree 100%. You have to, and if you're going to use a credit card, just be fiscally responsible, pay it off every month. There's a lot of good points there.
Now here's
like
just
I tell people.
just to throw in a curveball, here's one other option that a lot of people haven't thought of that I have done many times. And I don't know about you, Campbell, but I know Patriotic Stacker is also dabbling in some cryptocurrency like I am. Coinbase, which is one of the largest exchanges for crypto, has a Coinbase debit card, which I actually have. So I link this Coinbase debit card to my account, and I transfer money to this Coinbase debit card. Every time I use that Coinbase debit card as a credit card, it will pay me 4% cash back in crypto. So it's not a credit card, it's a debit card. So I have to just transfer money onto it from money that I already have in my hand, but I still get 4% cash back in that I can in the form of cryptocurrency. And then I can take that 4%, which I think right now it's coming back to me in the form of XLM, which is Stellar Lumens. And I just I can either leave it on Stellar Lumens, or I can convert it with no extra fee to whatever crypto I may be stacking at the time. So it functions kind of like a credit card in terms of I'm getting something back and I'm getting some reward. And if I buy metal with it, I'm still paying the higher premium because it's technically like they look at it like a credit card.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm still using money I already have in my possession, and I'm still getting 4% cash back for other things that have value.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like a credit card, you know, but you're just getting rewards and points in different ways. But you know, it all comes down to you as a person, you know. How I do things is I'm not going to spend $20,000 on my credit card if I don't have $100,000 in the bank. You know what I mean? If I can't buy that 5 times, if I can't buy a car 5 times, if I can't buy a house 5 times, I'm not going to buy that house. I'm not going to buy that car. So I like to have double in the bank or in cash that I know if God forbid something were to happen, I can pay off my debts.
It's a great attitude to have, and
yeah, you know,
I think you should definitely pick something that will help you out. You know, if it was between like Triple P was saying, if I have like this Coinbase thing that's actually giving me something back, yes, use those benefits to your advantage as much as you can. Squeeze every little bit of like cash out of there that you can. If it isn't, I don't know if that's worth it, but I would just use. There's so many different apps out there that where they want you to use, and this is kind of where I'm like a little leery because it's almost like training people to be more digital. Like if you use this app, you get this many points. I recently saw like a commercial for the McDonald's app. I don't, you know, like don't eat at McDonald's all that often, but like if you instead of like ordering at the drive-through or just ordering there, if you use the app and then go there, you get these bonus points. And so it's almost like it's a training tool of like, oh, use this to, you know, to get these benefits. And it's no different than like the CBDC, central bank digital currency. This is what it's leading up to, is they're training you to like, oh, look at the ease of this. If you use this, you get benefits back. So I that's where a lot of people are kind of like, yeah, this is great. This is working to my advantage. I'm getting all this. And I think that you should do that. But at the same time, this is how they get it into your life a lot easier, is they just slip that right on in saying, look, instead of having, you know, cash, you're just going to have a little card that you swipe, or a little chip in your hand that you go up to the thing and you ding it, you tap the thing and pay for your transaction. And then we know everything that you're buying.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. And I agree that the coming CBDCs are probably the biggest risk that we're facing right now. But I don't see a way to stop it. I really don't.
You know, I agree with you. And, you know, that's another thing people point out is paper trails. While you're using a credit card, paper trail. Well, when you use the money in bank, when check or whatever online, you're still a paper trail. Still a paper trail. The only way you're not going to get a paper trail is if you go in an LCS, and this depends on the states also. But if you go like in certain states, and you spend cash, there's no paper trail.
Well, even if you do pay with cash, most of the time your LCS will write you a receipt. And so they have a receipt. So if their records are somehow taken, there's a paper trail there. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The only way to not have a paper trail is to spend under 10K in cash in person.
Yep.
At a place that really doesn't have any sort of, video camera, because somebody can tap into that. So, I mean, there's really no way, and that's why I just use like a check, because it's like, I don't give a shit that that I'm buying this. You're not gonna find it.
Yeah,
you can come to my house. It won't be here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I agree with you. And another, speaking of, receipts and stuff, my LCS. Well, in New York alone, there's a huge loophole when it comes to buying precious metals. And it's good for us stackers if we live in New York. I don't want to go into depth with it because, God forbid someone from New York State's listening and goes back. But, most of the time, there's no receipt. There's nothing. I hand him cash. He gives me what it is, and that's it. But they've been trying to close this loophole in the state of New York for many years, and then COVID came up and stuff, and it just got really foggy. Like the loophole's foggy. They don't know what to do. They're working on it, but it's a matter of time before they seal that up. But everything I buy at my LCS, and granted, there's not many times I'm walking in there and spending $10,000 at once. You know what I mean? You'd be dumb if you're going to go into an LCS and spend over that anywhere. You want to break it up through time.
Yeah.
I mean, you go in there and you want to drop 9,000, that's fine. But once you get to 10, you know how the banks are. You know how everything is. They want, where's that money from? Here, sign this, sign that. Here's this, here's that. You know what I mean? I think it's under $10,000. So if you spend $9,999, you're in the clear. Mm-hmm. But that extra penny, you're signing
tax man.
You're signing some paperwork. Yep. So there's a lot of loopholes in our state. And when I buy online in New York, anything over $1,000, I don't pay tax. Well, if I go into my LCS, I can buy something for $200 and I don't pay tax.
See, that's nice. In California, they have every base covered. It's like they have like the tax man in their ear telling them, oh, remember to put this in there. Because if I try buying anything online that's under $1,500, I'm taxed. If I go to an LCS, same thing. They even tax platinum purchases that I've tried to make in the state. And those were over, I think, 3,000 at the time. So it was because they weren't platinum eagles. They were just like regular platinum bullion.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm just reading the comments now. Silver Heist has a good point. It says iPhone digital geolocation trail all day, every day.
Leave it at home. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think of that. We're carrying these smartphones every day in our pockets. We have these smart TVs in our home and Alexa, security systems and everything. They listen in to every freaking thing we're talking about. It's
we're putting it out there for them right now.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, absolutely.
And hey, jerk off, if you're listening, fuck you.
We know where you live. We know your full name. We know what you look like. We can go to your house in an hour if we wanted to.
I guarantee you they know who Triple P is and who Patriotic Stacker is. They know.
Oh, yeah. Well, funny fact. Remember when that whole thing with what was his name? Kyle with the AR out there in Rittenhouse, yeah, out there in what was that? Minnesota? Indiana, Wisconsin. They pulled up freaking drone footage from like the satellite, the FBI. They
Well,
had.
the FBI was already surveilling that whole thing.
Oh,
They
was
were
it?
just they were surveilling with the drone at the time.
Yeah. No.
But
All
they
right.
weren't doing anything about it. They were allowing everything to be burned, but they were just surveilling. So they were just watching from afar.
Yeah. Because no, I thought it was a whole freaking satellite thing. I was gonna say,
Well,
if they pull up that
and
shit.
that crap wasn't in the news. They didn't show that at the time.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
It
show
only
that.
came out because it showed up in the court.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah. That was like one of the main evidences, I think. They used, to show that he was running away from these scumbags. Director of Awesome's in the chat. What's up, Silver Forever? Just want to take a minute and say hi to everybody in the chat.
looks like we lost Triple P.
I don't think we did that yet. Oh, where'd Triple P go?
FBI got him.
FBI, yeah, they picked him up. They picked him up. I guess we'll wait a little bit till he comes back in. If he does come back in. What's up, Silver Ocean? Haley
Can't see
Newton.
the chat right now. So
There he is. Let me add him back. We thought the FBI got him, man.
Yeah. I ended up having to disconnect my Wi-Fi and just switch over to 5G. It was fucking up too much.
Come on, dude. It's 2022. You should have 5G already.
So
come on, it's dangerous hours.
Usually my Wi-Fi is pretty reliable. I don't know what's wrong with it tonight.
The FBI, man, they're hacked in your system.
That's what I'm saying.
They're draining it.
Clearly that's what's going on here.
Silver High says Triple P gets duty-free coin shopping at airports.
What a great idea. Hey, I like that. That's genius. Duty-free LCSs at the airports.
Director of Awesome says I max out my credit cards on YouTube auctions every week. What's up, Haley Newton, RR, Silver Oceans? I wish I could go back further in the comments, but I can't. If I missed you and I didn't say hi, sorry.
Hi, everyone.
Desert Bob. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching.
Coming up on almost 2 hours right now. We're at like 147.
45. Well, no, 147. Yeah.
We probably exhausted Campbell's coins.
Yeah. Now he's nervous.
He's nervous.
He's gonna get off the chat and he's gonna get arrested. CIA and FBI is right there. Show us your gold. Show us your silver. Where is it?
That's what the 338 Lapu is for. Right here.
This?
No, this right here.
Oh. I was gonna say that's there you go. Nice.
Very cool.
I actually just purchased a 300 PRC Campbell.
Oh. Hey, you know what's funny? At the same time that I got my 1301 Beretta, you got that. How are you liking yours? Because I love mine.
That's the best tactical shotgun ever made.
100%.
Best tactical
shotgun on the market.
Best $12.99 that I spent in my lifetime.
Here's my only complaint about the gun. And you guys are going to say I'm being overly
There's no
critical
complaints
about it.
Cut your bullshit. There's no complaints.
No, there's one complaint about the gun. And it's not really a complaint. It's just something Beretta could have done to make it better.
The grip.
I'm really nitpicking here, but it's something that I would have loved. I just wish it had a 3.5-inch chamber instead of a 3-inch.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
What color did
I was
you guys
expecting
get?
it to be something totally different. Well, what do you need a 3.5-inch for?
3.5-inch, you can accommodate a longer shell.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, what shell are you using for that? Besides hunting.
So basically, I don't even have the gun in my house loaded. I have it stashed away in the gun safe, and I don't even keep it loaded. But I think we can all agree that it would make a phenomenal home defense weapon. I just cannot use it for that purpose right now because of my kids, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I'm not going to be able to leave a long gun loaded laying around my house, so that means I have to go to pistols. So
For sure.
because of that, I just keep it locked up. I keep the long guns locked up in a big gun safe. But I mean, it'll still do the job very, very effectively with a 3-inch shell. Obviously, like I said, I think it's a little nitpicky, but if I just had one thing that I think they could have done to improve it, it would have been the 3.5-inch chamber.
You want to know what my improvement would be?
What's that?
If they can make it in red.
Red?
Red.
One tactical.
Red for Red Wave.
That would be cool. I mean, you can Cerakote it, bro.
Yeah, you can
What
spray
color did you
paint
guys
that
get?
shit.
What color did you guys get? I got the green.
Black.
We got the FDE. So we got the whole rainbow of tactical.
You guys still there?
FDE and green. There you go.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, FDE.
Yeah, no, they're by far the greatest tactical shotgun. I love them. They are awesome. I'm so happy I bought one.
It's so
Campbell.
underrated too.
Campbell, I know it's hard to conceal carry in California.
Near impossible, and it's by county too. So it's not like you can. It's not by the state. Like some counties are more lenient than others. But in my county, like if someone in the next county over were to get a concealed carry, they couldn't do it in this county. So it's not via the whole state; it's by county.
Yeah, that's kind of like how New York is. You know, the pistol license, like in Orange County, and Orange County is mainly a conservative county, but it's still harder to get a pistol license here. It could take up to a year to get it in our county because, again, like major cities, there's 3 major cities in our county, and they happen to be, Democrat run. So, the judges tend to say no most of the time. But if we go across the border to Sullivan County, it takes like 4 months. In PA, Pennsylvania, 10 minutes down the road from me, you can get it in 3 days. It's just crazy.
Some you can get online too. I think there's like
here's a crazy
40 states, 37 states you can do it online.
Yeah.
Florida, my state, the gunshine state, supposedly.
You can have fucking grenades in Florida.
Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. We're one of the few states that doesn't have constitutional carry. 25 states in the union have constitutional carry, but Florida is not one of them. However, Ron DeSantis is pushing hard for it this session. So we'll see. We'll see if we're able to pull it off. But Florida is such a weird state because of Disney and because all of the tourism and because of the public concept of, people walking down the streets with guns hanging off their hips, and it's the shootout at the OK Corral. And it's not like that. Like you look at every other state when they pass constitutional carry, your violent crimes decrease. But again, we're living in 2022 where the facts don't matter.
Yep. And you know what I noticed too at Florida? They have, they're very lenient with a lot of things, but they have one of the strictest gold and silver laws in the country. Sending gold out there is like, what's it, an extra tax or something?
So here's the thing. You can buy gold and silver online, and anything that's U.S. minted. So we're talking, silver eagles,
yeah,
buffaloes, shit like that. Even the, I think even the old pre-33 stuff, I think is covered under that. There's no tax on that. Anything else, like this
bars,
like this thing, this Lynx, this is obviously not U.S. minted, so that would be subject to tax unless the purchase price was over $500, which obviously an ounce of gold I paid significantly over $500, so it was still tax free. So the trick is either buy U.S. stuff or spend at least $500.
Yeah, and most of us, we spend way over that when we buy, but there's people out there that, can't afford that, and it sucks. You know what I mean? And some people don't like U.S. Mint stuff. So, I watch these LCSs, like, Speg, he goes to his LCS and they talk about it. And I never knew that up until recently. And then I sold something to Florida. I bought something to send to Florida. And I had to pay like an extra like $50 or $40 to get it out there. It was ridiculous. Like I was flipping something and it ended up costing me more money. And I ended up losing like $5 because I didn't think that would happen. And then I thought back to the videos I was watching. I was like, fuck. Yeah, Florida has those weird laws.
Florida has a lot of weird laws. Florida's an interesting state, and I think a lot of it just stems from it's been known as a swing state for so many years, and then also the whole tourism industry, because the state, our population in the wintertime, I would have to ask Mrs. Triple P. She'll have the exact numbers on this, but I want to say it like almost triples. I know the population of the city that I live in triples in the wintertime with all the snowbirds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I fucking hate the snowbirds. Holy shit. They come down here and they fuck everything up.
Well, we're one of them. We got a summer home in Fort Lauderdale, you cocksucker.
But, yeah, I mean, then they leave. The snowbirds fly back north.
Listen.
For the summertime, and all of a sudden traffic is moving again, and I'm not sitting in traffic for 2 hours to drive 30 miles.
Listen, this snowbird and his wife's going to come down to June to see you. So, don't be talking shit about snowbirds.
Dude, and our pool is going to be kick ass. It is going
patriotic. I got some butthurt cream if you need it.
I do got some.
It's definitely not a tube of toothpaste.
I do got some hemorrhoids. You think that'd help?
It might. It's pretty miraculous.
Oh, and since it's we're almost on for 2 hours now, I wanted to ask this. Now this has been getting a lot of shit the last day or two with this thing coming up, and this May 15th raid. What's your, I'm actually, I already filmed a video about it. I'm going to upload it. I pretty much just went off. So what's your opinion? The community's kind of split on this one. I think me personally, I think it's fucking dumb. People should learn from what happened last year with the silver squeeze, and all they're going to do is raise premiums and cause a bunch of bullshit, thinking that they're going to just get gold, get silver, buy it all up and flip it in a couple months, and silver's to the moon and they're rich. What do you think of this May 15th raid?
Stupid. It's the dumbest thing. I mean, it's like nobody learned from last year. And the reason why they do this sort of thing is because you have certain dealers or certain miners pushing something, and so all their parrots start squawking the same message: silver squeeze, and it's like, fuck, there's a finite amount of silver out there, but what they mine, there's still like a little bit left over every single year. So if you're gonna silver squeeze, you gotta buy a shitload of it, and all these people are not coming anywhere close to that amount. So there might be like a production delay of like 1 month or 2 months.
Yeah.
Hell, maybe even 3 months. And that's going to drive the price up, but then the market will fill it back in again. So it's somebody at APMEX or another big bullion dealer is saying to their parrots, hey, do the silver squeeze. I would love to see the idiots behind this thing, because
I'd like to punch them in their fucking face.
Exactly. All you're doing is you're raising the price of silver for the community. You can't get your hands on it. So you paid out the ass for something that'll be in stock in 3 months. Good job.
Yeah.
And then the price won't come down for another year. So,
and you got these YouTubers that are sitting there and they have stacking channels. And then the 1 minute they're talking about, oh, don't go for FOMO. It's a bunch of bullshit. You shouldn't do that. And then 2 minutes later, they're saying, oh, do the silver squeeze. I'm going to buy the silver squeeze. These fucking guys shouldn't even be on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You're teaching all these people to just, it's aggravating.
I think there's a bigger picture here that we haven't even mentioned yet. I think the timing of this is impeccable because you have the Fed meeting that's going to be happening. I think is it today and tomorrow, or tomorrow and the next day? It's right now, basically. And we all know the Fed is saying they're going to more than likely raise rates. The numbers I'm hearing are like 0.5%. So we know that's coming. I think the markets are already starting to slowly react in anticipation for that, right? Now, there's also a CPI coming out again on, I want to say, is it May 11th or May 12th? So you've got your April CPI coming, which, Lord only knows what that's going to show. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were in the upper 8s to like 9% inflation. And now we have a May 15th raid coming, which is going to drive premiums up. So I feel like those three things make the first half of May the perfect fucking storm for skyrocketing silver prices.
Yeah, it's that FOMO.
Yeah, and it just what happened. After the silver squeeze in beginning of last year, the premiums never went. They never went back. They just kept on rising, and then recently they rose again. Is it not high enough for you guys? Do you want to be more of a collector than a stacker?
That's what I'm saying. It has to come from some supplier, because who else benefits from it? It certainly isn't the stacker. The stacker doesn't benefit from higher prices.
Hell no.
The new stackers are coming in and buying Eagles. I guarantee you, if this thing does go off, you're going to see APMEX with $45, $48 Eagles. So it's only going to make stackers pay more. So who benefits from it? Who benefits from it are dealers, suppliers. Somebody out there is going to benefit massively from this, and it's not going to be the stacker.
And what the funny thing is? I asked my LCS, I said, we talk about everything, politics and all that. And he said, I love Trump. He said, he was a great president. 4 years were awesome, but he said it was the worst time for my business. He says, now with everything going on, my business is booming. I'm making more money than I ever did before.
Yeah.
Because of the premiums and everything that's going on and all the FOMO and people getting scared and waking up. And
it's no different than gun sales during Obama.
Yeah.
Or gun sales now. Like, you couldn't get, ammo is just starting to come back.
Yeah, it's starting
from 2013. And then you have like all this shit from 2020 happening. It's gone again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's like, the food in the beginning with the COVID and everything, and toilet paper, like no one expected that. And I guess wiping your ass was more important than eating. But it's
because those people are watching these idiotic YouTube channels who say the very first thing you're going to want to need is toilet paper. I've never lived in a shit hits the fan scenario, but let me give you my experience of that.
Yeah. Like back in the day, what do you think they wipe their ass with? So what? You ain't got no toilet paper. Go outside, grab some fucking leaves. Wipe
Number one thing, water. Next thing, food.
Absolutely.
But they're grabbing toilet paper.
No. We're nuts for trying to prepare. That makes us crazy and eccentric.
We're getting ready for the zombie apocalypse.
But if we're stacking toilet paper, that's cool. Okay.
Oh, and Germ-X and Lysol wipes. Can't forget about that. I remember we were like limited to one can of Lysol wipes.
If you could find it.
If you could find it at the time. Now it's like they made so much that the whole half of Walmart is Lysol wipes.
We couldn't find Clorox wipes for damn near 6 months.
Yeah, and people were even buying baby diapers. Adults that didn't have kids were buying fucking diapers off the shelf. For what? What are you using that for? You ain't got no fucking kids.
Here's a funny story. We actually, when we couldn't find toilet paper through the toilet paper shortage, the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, when we couldn't find toilet paper, we actually
hemorrhoid wipes.
Huh?
Did you get hemorrhoid wipes?
Well, no, we actually bought extra baby wipes. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because we got to buy baby wipes because, kids in diapers anyways, right? So
Yep.
like, fuck it. Let's just buy baby wipes in case we run out of fucking toilet paper.
I
Like,
bet your ass has never been as clean.
we've got food, we've got water, we've got guns, we've got ammo, we've got medical supplies, we've got everything that we fucking need. I can figure out alternative ways to wipe my fucking ass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
With anything. And, let me tell you, when this whole COVID thing broke out, me and my wife were set. We didn't have to go to the store and freak out and buy this and that because I had everything. I had everything we needed. Yeah, granted, toilet paper. Yeah, we needed to go get some toilet paper before everything sold out. You know what I mean? But we had everything. We had extra food and ammunition and guns and, backup funds. And that's, very important for people to be prepared. What's going to happen next? And everyone's going to be rushing into the store and going nuts and killing each other.
Well, that was another good situation to live through because you got to, like, I don't know about you guys, but everyone was in panic mode here. And I remember going to the store one day after work, and the grocery store that I was in was just packed full of people, and they're just like frantically grabbing shit off the shelf. And I'm just like, God damn, chill the fuck out. It's not the end of the world. Stop acting like it. And imagine if it was just something worse. If they're acting this way over the beer flu,
oh yeah,
dude, imagine if it was
it's
something like a just imagine if it was just a little bit worse. Holy crap.
Yeah, like the internet crashes and shit, and there's you got
people would lose their shit.
Oh fuck, dude, hell yeah, that'd be kind of funny to watch, just to see how fucking crazy people would go. You know what I mean? It would suck, no communicate in a lot of ways, but I can live without it. And it's not hard. I got kids, I got a family. You know what I mean? We can spend even more time together without fucking. People live off these things and they get addicted, and they don't know how to live without it. The hardest person that would get hit in my house without internet would be my son because he loves his games and stuff. But yeah, we can live without it. Most of my kids, they're outside playing. We're playing games and throwing a football and out in the woods playing soldiers. But it's just this generation. How everything is, people became more lazy and reliable on things. I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to rely on anybody or anything. I want to be able to know that I can fend for myself, my immediate family.
Well, you're a minority.
Yeah,
because a lot of people are like, government, help me out.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody worrying about my family and our safety and our survival except for me. I don't want the help. I don't need the help.
Yep.
I think that's the message that we've all been trying to give people too, is like, look how fast it took for people for the government to go help people in any sort of disaster like Katrina. It was like a week, It's like, what are you going to do for a week? Are you not going to drink any water? Are you just going to sleep? You're not going to have any food?
Just lay down
and
die.
Something. Yeah. You have to have something. Just imagine, like, I know that there's like a huge group of people out there that are just lazy and that just want someone else to take care of it for them. Like, who wouldn't want that? But you just feel so much better knowing that you have like everything in your own hands. You don't need somebody else to come in and take care of it for you.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, it's just people are just screwed up nowadays. They're just worried about their latest iPhone and the next social media and things that aren't going to benefit them or their family.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's in the chat right now. Don't listen to that May 15th raid BS. Don't be part of the problem. Stay away from that crap. I know there's a lot of big channels, bigger than our channels, that are broadcasting this and telling everybody to go on every stacker's channel in the community and comment down May 15th, buy the raid, blah, 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 blah. Don't listen to them. Be smart.
Yeah, that should be if you see someone talking about that as a good thing, that should be a huge red flag that you should not be paying attention to that person.
Yeah. And, the funny thing is, I don't want to say any names, but, Sal commented on one of these videos, and he pretty much told it how it is. And people just don't listen to it.
Yeah,
You're a
that dude has
stacker,
been around forever.
that guy's a legend, and he's,
Oh.
by far one of the smartest. Me and Triple P were talking about this.
Oh, all of a sudden, Mrs. Triple P lives.
Hey, Mrs. Triple P.
Yeah,
But me and Triple P were talking about this, saying that the smartest guys in the community, not saying anyone else is stupider or whatever, but would have to be you, Silver Heist, and Sal. We learned so much from watching you guys, and just the information and how you guys explain things and go into depth with things. It's awesome. You guys are legit channels, and these are the channels that everyone should be listening to.
Yes.
Don't go to these just because they got 100,000 subs, or they're they have memberships or whatever. Doesn't mean they're good. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're stackers. Yeah, they have good points and this and that. But some of the shit they say, it's it's false. And you also got to remember too, a lot of these guys are getting paid by certain companies to say this stuff. So why aren't they not going to say it? They're going to say it because they're getting paid. So at the end of the day, do they really care about you and how you stack and what you stack and what you're going to do for your family? No. So, just be smart and don't be part of the problem. If you want to continue to be financial wise and stack, don't buy no shit on the 15th and don't go into that raid crap.
Well, be smart about it. There's always going to be dips. So wait for the dips and buy the dips. People that FOMO in, they're coming in when gold is at 2,000 or 2,050 an ounce, and then it drops back down to 1,870, and they get pissed off. Well, don't be a dumbass and buy it when it's climbing. Wait for it to level off, consolidate, and wait for the dips.
Yeah, and if anyone should be buying silver right now, even though I think it's more of a gold year personally, it's better premiums and stuff. But if you're going to be buying silver now, I'd be buying today when it's 22 and change, $23. The 15th, it could be $28 an ounce. Who knows? It's definitely going to climb up by then. I don't see it going down by then. Until then.
What I've seen happen though is when these shortages do happen, it's not like there's a shortage of silver, but what happens is the spot price will drop and the premiums will remain the same. So you're going to you could see $20 silver, $18 silver. Those premiums will inflate, not deflate. So, and then that FOMO kicks in and people are like, oh shit, like if it's still this, I got to lock in my price now and I got to buy some. Just chill out. Getting that 10 ounces today, isn't going to save you. Just wait a little bit. Don't freak out. Don't let other people say one thing one day and then completely change their tune another day, all for views. On one hand, I really like channels that all these stacking channels out there. They help get the message out there that gold and silver, this is something that you should have.
Agreed, 100%.
And I like them for that. What I don't like is these clickbaity type things that I feel they're more in it for the views than actually helping somebody.
Yeah,
they could care less about if they actually made an impact on someone's life.
Yeah,
they're more interested in just I need to get those views.
Well,
yeah.
And
so I have this really strange I hate it, but at the same time I love it because the more people that see the message, that's good. It's a good thing for the community. But on the other hand, you're just be a little bit more responsible with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. When you have this amount of people watching you, this big support on your channel, and you're one of those huge channels, you should keep that in mind, that a lot of people are going to take advice from you, even if you say financial advisor or not, because they know a lot about gold and silver. So when you're putting out certain things about certain mining companies or whatever, or gold backs, and it's not the best idea. They're like, buy it now, and people are going out there buying an ounce of gold in gold backs. Like, you gotta
Jesus Christ, I don't want to know that person is buying an ounce in gold backs.
Yeah, but it's true. It's certain things when you have that. It's all about being responsible, right? When you have that view, that fans at that amount, you gotta you steer them in the right direction.
At the end of the day, we're all just a couple of knuckleheads on YouTube, right?
That's it.
I don't think anybody should be taking advice from any of us. I mean, YouTube,
all personal opinions.
I mean, you know what they say about opinions, right? Opinions
are like assholes.
We all got them and they all stink.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you can take some of your channels out there and they'll say something like, why I'm done buying silver at $22 an ounce.
And then buy silver the next day.
And then you wait like 6 months later and
silver squeeze
$26. Buy this silver now. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, which one is it? And, you just...
and when you're just starting out, you actually listen to those. Like, I never did. I didn't start my stacking journey listening to YouTube. I did it all like on my own, and I made those mistakes on my own. And I understand that people now have the YouTube to access to go like, what is the best to buy? And YouTube is great for that. But like, people are listening to you. You're like, and they're gonna look at that and go, okay, I shouldn't buy any right now because he seems to know what he's doing, or she knows what she's doing, and that seems valid to me. And then the next you get like a different message. You're like, wait, you just told me not to do this. Oh crap! Like, I got to sell it now.
And that's what I noticed. I noticed like some of these big channels. 1 week they'll say, don't buy silver, buy gold, in this year 2022, and then literally a couple days later, their next video is don't buy gold, buy silver. It's
at the end of the day, people should follow two very simple rules: buy what you want and buy what you can afford.
Yep.
It really is that simple. If you want to buy a fucking tube of American Silver Eagles, and if that's what you want, and if you can afford that, and you understand that you're paying a hefty premium on it, well, if that's what you want, then fucking buy it if you can afford it. I wouldn't tell
do what makes you happy. Yeah.
Like, I would never tell anybody not to do that. Now, I personally am not buying American Silver Eagles now, but that's just me, and that's just my opinion. And I think a lot of people watch these YouTube videos and they put a lot of weight on them, and some of these people say things that I don't want to say that they shouldn't say, but I think a lot of people take things very, very literally that they shouldn't necessarily put so much weight on.
Yeah. And another thing too, if you go to the doctors and you get diagnosed with something, you're not just going to get that one opinion. You're going to go around to a bunch of other doctors and get different opinions. Well, that's why all these YouTube channels, you can go around and watch Sal, Campbell Coins, Triple P, Savage Stacker, me. You can go around and watch different guys and see,
and you should do all that. You should gather opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you see what the average is. Like, okay, more people are saying more to gold and then silver, and then maybe you can get an idea. And then also you got to have a good head on your shoulders and know what you want to do and what you can afford at the same time. And it's like, in the business, when I started doing flooring, every male in my family was in the flooring business and some type of trades, and I took techniques and things they've taught me from everybody, from a little bit of everybody, my uncles, my father, my grandfather. And then I've also had my own twists and improvise and put a little bit of, my own techniques into it as well. So, it's a mixture of everything from everybody's advice and different parts. And, I think the same thing with, these channels.
I think that holds true with just about every profession out there.
Yeah, everything.
Every working class American that's out there busting their ass, working on a daily basis to provide for their families, they've probably gotten very, very good at what they do for a living, and they didn't do that overnight. They did that by learning from other people. It's like even me, I didn't necessarily like take all these good traits from all these captains when I was a first officer to learn how to be a captain. I sat in that right seat as a first officer for many, many years, and I didn't necessarily learn what kind of captain I wanted to be, but I learned what kind of captain I did not want to be. So it's kind of the same thing, because you work with douchebags or you fly with douchebags, and you're like, I don't ever want to be, quote, that guy, right? I don't want to be that guy. Well, it holds true with every profession, and it holds true with silver and gold stacking and financial prepping. Do what you want,
it's just like,
do what you can afford, and don't be a dumbass.
Exactly. Yep. And it's just like, you went and got your pool, right, Triple P?
Yes.
Did you go to one guy, one contractor, and say, you're going to do my pool? Or did you gather bids? You went with the best option.
We gathered probably somewhere between 6 to 8 bids from different pool contractors. And the contractor that we hired was definitely not the cheapest.
Yeah.
But they impressed us with being the most responsible, we thought,
most
and
professional,
also doing the best quality work.
Yeah.
They were not the cheapest and they were not the most expensive. They were somewhere in the middle of the road, and I felt like I could get the most bang for my buck by hiring them, and that's why we hired them.
Yeah, and that's like in my business, just because that bid is cheaper from somebody else doesn't mean he's the best. It's too good to be true, like we say in the stacking community. If it's too good to be true, it's usually too good to be true. You know what I mean? People have that in their mind. Oh, I'm gonna go with the cheapest. Saves money, whatever. But 90% of the times, that's gonna be where your headache comes from, because the job ain't gonna get done right. Shit's gonna get come back. The guy's not gonna come and fix it. You're gonna end up hiring that guy that was the most expensive, and he's gonna do an outstanding job, and you're gonna end up be paying him the $100,000 to do an in-ground pool. You know what I mean? So, you go with your gut and who you think's the most professional, who has the most references, the most reviews, and that who came across in a good way and made a good first impression. You know what I mean? My business, what I charge in my area at a lot of the flooring companies, I'm one of the most expensive, but I could charge those prices because I built up my name and my reputation to do good work and be on time. If I'm going to tell you I'm going to be there 7:30 in the morning, I'm going to be there. If I'm going to tell you it's going to be done in a day, it's going to be done in a day. If this is the color you want on your floors, this is the color you're going to get on your floors. So
people respect that.
Yeah.
People see that. They see a contractor that knows how to run his business. They see a contractor that has his shit together, who's got a good reputation, who's got good reviews, and who does good work, and they're willing to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So
100%.
cheapest isn't the best bet a lot of times, people. That's you pay what you get for. That's what they say. So, you guys want to wrap this up tonight?
Oh, it's only been 2 hours and 23 minutes.
We can go another hour.
Yeah, it's definitely been a blast. I've enjoyed it.
I've had a lot of fun, guys.
I really appreciate it for coming on, man. It means a lot. And like I said, you're one of the old-time favorite channels for me and Triple P. And not only that, I think a lot of people think the same in the community. Like I said, you, Silver Heist, and Sal, by far one of the funnest channels to watch. We learned a lot from you guys, and
it's a combination of entertainment and just raw, pure common sense, which I think it's perfect.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. And Campbell, it's been a pleasure. It means a lot again. And next Tuesday, Tita Silver Stacker's coming on.
Yes.
That would be a good show.
And that's another great channel. You know what I mean?
A lot about coin shop interviews. It definitely should be interesting.
Absolutely. He can explain, the insides outs of LCSs and different areas. And, it's fun, you know. Like I said with T, he brought something that you don't see much on YouTube. You know, that's every channel has their uniqueness, you know, and brings something different to the table, and that's what's great about our community, the YouTube community. You know, and T is just another awesome, unique channel.
Yeah, I like those people that find those like those different niches. They don't just do like a copy paste type thing. They find something that's a little bit different that offers a little bit something extra to the audience. They put in that little bit extra, effort in to say like, hey, have you looked at this aspect? I really like stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, it's a lot for someone to find their niche too. You know, it takes a little bit. You know, I've only been doing YouTube for about 5-6 months. I've started, I believe, I started my YouTube channel in October, but I didn't get recognized until December when International Stacker, another great channel, another unique channel, travels the world to buy silver and gold. And then Savage Stacker shouted me out and really started me off. But, you know, I'm still working to find my niche. You know, I'm still trying to trademark, you know, myself. Um, I feel like my stuff is okay, but I think it can be a lot better. And there's certain things that, it takes time to really trademark yourself. You know, like you, when I think of Campbell Coins, you know, you can tell from a mile away. Same thing with you, Triple P. You know, you could tell. You know, you tell it like it is, and then you got T the Silver Stacker, and he's known for the interviews and the Libertads. You know, everyone has their niche, and it takes a little time to find what works for you and what really is what people like.
Well, it's hard too because talking about coins, gold and silver, it's not the easiest or it's it's not like the most popular thing. When
No,
you start talking about coins, people just like snooze and so you got to you have to add something to it that they might not know, or you have to there's just so much to it to make it more lively to get people engaged, because a lot of the time when you talk about gold and silver and you're like, why am I stacking this? People are like, oh, doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. It's like, no, it's being prepared. You see signs, I want to be prepared for this. Here's how I'm doing it. So I mean it's tough because you get pigeonholed into like you're this type of person, you're a doom and gloomer,
yeah,
something like that. It's something stupid, you're just like, come on, like it's tough. And it's not like for firearms, like I'm a huge firearms addict, and I been in the 2A community for a really, really long time. And in fact, I was going to do like my channel was going to be a firearms channel, but I'm like, there's so many firearms channels out there. How do I make mine different? And then you have YouTube demonetizing everything or shutting people down who have a firearms channel because they don't want people to see that type of thing.
yeah,
And so I'm like, okay, what can I still talk about that's in, that is a hobby for me that I just kind of like chatting about, and then how can I make this interesting to people to watch? And coins is fucking hard.
it
It's
is.
fucking hard to talk about gold and silver. I mean, it's just a hard fucking topic. I bet
Yeah,
like your wives, if you go, you're like, do you love gold and silver? Like, well, it's not my best. Like, it's not. People don't really care. They're like, oh, it's good for you. I'm glad you have a hobby.
I seen that post you post on Instagram with the little squirrel or groundhog or whatever the hell it was
Oh, the
with
otter,
the
yeah.
coin, and I tagged my wife into it, and she's like, yeah, it's more like, mm-hmm. But it's true, it is hard, and another thing, there's only so much you can talk about within a year's time, especially other people's putting out their own ideas and their own captions, and at the same time you don't want to copy them. You want to kind of
Mm-hmm.
put your own thing, but there's only so many titles and so many things you can talk about until
It's just the coin stacking community is such a niche topic as it is. It's such a small niche that there's not a whole lot to expand into.
yeah,
You know, it's silver, gold, platinum, and you got like collectible coins. I mean, if you get too nichey, then you have no audience because nobody wants to.
yeah,
Like, I only collect Colombian silver. It's like, Okay.
Yeah.
Here's your 5 people that give a shit about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other topics out there. Like if you were to talk about, all I do is talk about electronics. Everyone has electronics, so
Yeah.
you can capture a bigger audience that way. But coins, shit is fucking hard to get people interested in.
Oh yeah.
Well,
And
you take your biggest coin channels on all of YouTube. So you've got, you've got Cell, you've got Dragons. I think Dragons is the biggest with like around 100,000, right? So
Yep.
let's
Rob
pick
finds treasure.
who?
Rob finds treasure.
Yeah. So let's just pick on Dragons for a minute. Say you got 100,000 subs. Well, that's monstrous for
For our community.
the golden stack, silver stacking community. But but 100,000 subs in other aspects,
YouTube
literally
world.
anything
like
else.
where you're watching fucking cats like do stupid shit. Like 100,000 subs is nothing. Like there's people out there talking about the most ridiculous topics in the world who have millions of subs, and they're making a shit ton of money every year off of freaking ads talking about ridiculousness.
Yep.
So like it's kind of funny how there's different levels of what's considered a big channel depending on what your subject matter is.
Have
Yeah.
you guys seen that meme? It shows like a clown and it says, "Me on my way to work while some 8-year-old YouTuber reviews toys and makes 25 million a year." It's like that's exactly what it feels like. It's like the community is so freaking small, it's impossible to grow.
But I'll tell you, this community's small, but it's got the biggest heart.
Oh, 100%.
This community is, for example, the other day, I don't know if you guys watched Skull Stacks' video today. He was at SC's auction, and Silverstruck bought him a 10-ounce bar.
Wow.
A 10-ounce silver bar, $300, and
That's
sent
awesome.
it and told SC to send it to his house. You know what I mean? Who does that? If I fucking was at a gas station, I forgot my wallet, and I went up to a person that was pumping and said, "Hey, can I borrow $10? I got to get home to my kids. I forgot my wallet." They'll tell me to go fuck myself. You know what I mean? You go give a blowjob in the fucking alley somewhere and get your $10, you crackhead. You know what I mean? That's what they'll tell me, especially in New York. But
Dude,
in this community,
to build on what you're talking about, exactly. To build on what you're talking about, though, like I just want to give a shout out to like Silver Oceans. I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but think about any other channel out there, or any other community out there. What community is sending letters to one another with
postcards
like
and everything?
Just like, "Hey, I liked your video here. You're doing a great job." What name one other community that does that shit? None.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's great. And another thing, how is, we were talking about being a niche community, very small. I've noticed that this year, with me starting off, that it's because I've been, like I said, I've been a stacker for 9 years. I've been watching YouTube and a lot of channels for many years, but I never had a really YouTube channel. I never started a channel for myself until recently. There was only a select few of channels I'd watched at the time that there was. You had Sal, you had Silver Bean Counter, you had, channels that's been around for 10 plus years, since pretty much the beginning of YouTube. But up until recently this year, it's a huge boom of YouTube channels. There's new YouTube stacking channels popping out left and right. And I think what's really making that go off too is because people's waking up. And not only that, I think cryptocurrency has a lot to do with it. Because everyone's saying that Bitcoin and gold is similar, and the crypto crowd's moving to precious metals now, and I see a lot of that happening, and now I think more people are waking up, and I think our community's going to get bigger, but I don't think YouTube's going to really allow it. They're going to try to be the last search. If you type in something, it's going to be hard. You're never going to see it when you click on your YouTube home screen and you have videos of TikTok videos or your car videos. You're never going to see a precious metal video.
No.
You have to actually
home
go
screen.
search for
finance.
first. I think the way the YouTube algorithms work is it remembers what videos you click on and what videos you watch, and then you're on your homepage, it gives you lots of things that are of a similar topic. So if someone is not initially going to look at videos about financial collapses or stacking gold and silver or prepping or what have you, they're probably not going to ever see any of that stuff. YouTube is not going to volunteer it to them.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so funny. It's like you can't get your channel out there because YouTube won't recommend you because nobody gives a shit about it. not the channel, but just the topic. And that's why I'm glad that there's a lot of channels out there, even if they're putting out, not the greatest of information or like false information, like the Silver Squeeze movement stuff. It still gets a message out there. It gets people talking. That's one thing I really like, that, yeah, it's getting people to talk about why is silver important? What is the Silver Squeeze? What's going on there? And then, like, my entire family does not give a shit about gold and silver. And I've had to convince a few family members, I'm like, this is why you're going to want to. And if they say no, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't try to drum it into their head. I don't try to beat it into their head. But I told, like, all of my siblings, I'm like, you guys are making a lot more money now. You graduated college. You should, like, allocate a little bit of this into precious metals, physical precious metals. And all of them said, cool, thanks for the info. Fast forward 4 years, my brother was like, holy shit, you were right. Like, I don't know how the economy hasn't collapsed yet. He's like, I've been spiraling. Like, I've just been going into this anxiety spiral for the last 2 days, seeing like all the shit that's going on. He's like, how did I not see this before? And so it's nice to hear that, like, that validation of, like, yeah, like, me and a whole lot of other voices out there have been putting this information out there saying, this is what you need to do, and this is why you need to do it.
Fucking told you, right?
Yeah. I did say, like, I'm not being a jerk, but I fucking told you, asshole.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I hate when people, say that, like, oh, if gold and silver is so good, why isn't everyone buying it? Why is it why are they selling it? Why isn't the government keeping it and this and that? I said, it's the same reason why people sell food and stores sell food and clothes. You need it. You know what I mean? And food is the most important thing in this world, food and water. Why are they selling that? You know what I mean? They're just it's hard to convince someone, precious metals and in general is safe and is a hedge against inflation, and it's a good savings. It's a real savings. It's a savings where you're not going to lose, because regardless, yeah, gold and silver is going to dip. You're going to have dips, but it's always going to go up. 10 years from now, it's not going to be it's not going to be $2,000. It's going to be $2,500, if not more. And in another 10 years, in 100 years from now, 100 years before, it was $20 an ounce. And 100 years from now, it's going to be, $5,000 an ounce, $6,000 an ounce. It's always going to go up. And your dollar's just going to get less and less and less. And it's not hard for people to understand if they really take the time and listen and hear you out, hear what you're saying before cutting you off and being stubborn and don't want to hear what you got to say, and say, oh, if you there's so many better places to put your money in, this and that. And I'm not saying to put all your income, all your savings money into precious metals. No, you should diversify. You should have retirement accounts, investment accounts, cryptocurrency, stocks, emergency funds, savings. But you should have at least, in my opinion, 15 to 20% of your annual income into precious metals. You got to have something.
I have more than that, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I would probably, that's at least, I'd probably way more than that. The main things I put in money in is precious metals, my Roth IRA, my retirement accounts, my investing account, and I have emergency funding. I throw cash aside, and real estate. Real estate's big. I flip out.
That's the one I'm missing, bro.
That's Best
I'm missing for diversification, and that's the one I'm waiting to strike on.
best investment, but the big thing about real estate is time and place. Time and place. Most important two things when it comes to real estate is time and place. Just because you can find a property cheap does not mean you're gonna fucking make good on that price of property. It's time, location, place. Those are the big things. But that's the number one thing in my opinion.
And
Where
for me now, I don't think this is the time. I think right now
Oh,
that
hell no.
the best thing to do is just kick back and wait, because I think a
Yeah.
crash is coming.
houses right now, what people are doing, and they're gonna realize this. Next year, mark my words, you're gonna see for sale signs out in front of your community. Houses, rows, for sale signs. And because they're buying a house that's only really worth $300,000, $400,000, and they're paying $700,000 to $800,000 for that house because of the time. The market, the housing market's ridiculous. Now, when it crashes, that house is going to be worth $400,000, what it's actually worth, and you're stuck paying an $800,000 loan on that $400,000 house, and you'll never be able to get out of it unless it shoots up and you get out of it and you're lucky. But that's what happened in 2008, 2009. They were giving houses away to people. Oh, you only make 20 grand a year. Oh, here's $1 million house. And then before you know it, they lost it because they couldn't afford it. The houses went down, and they're stuck paying crazy amount of money for houses that aren't worth what they were charging, but they were giving them away. They were, we'll sign you on. You only make 5 grand a year, 10 grand, 20 grand. Fuck yeah. You're getting a house. You're getting $1 million house,
Yep.
and that's, it's the same thing with everything else. You just got to be smart, but one of the best investments for sure. And the best thing about it, you can actually use it. You can live in the damn thing.
Right.
You can live for 30 years, raise your family, and then you paid 190 grand for it, and you sell it in 30 years, and you just, you paid off your mortgage, and you have a $500,000 in your pocket, and you can go buy something else. But again, another mistake people are doing, especially in New York, they're selling their house that they've been in for 30 years, paid off. They get $500,000. Oh yeah, the market's crazy. I'm selling it. Well, then they stay in New York and they go buy another house. Well, now that house you just bought is the same damn house, but double the price.
Well, no, I wish they would stay in New York. A lot of them are cashing out their 401ks and coming to Florida.
Oh yeah.
It's so bad down here in Florida. A good friend of mine, he's one of my first officers. He was trying to buy a house on the water, and he had a significant amount of money to put down as his down payment, as well as he was approved for a $900,000 mortgage. Well, generally, the area he was looking at for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,800 to 2,000 square foot home, you're going to be right around like 900,000 to $1 million because of the location.
Yeah.
So you would think that he would be able to go buy a fucking house. He's approved for 900,000, plus he's got cash in his pocket. Well, guess what? He couldn't buy a fucking house because every single offer he put on a home, he was getting outbid on by people coming down from New York who are cashing out their 401ks, and they're offering, 1.1, 1.2 million cash deals to buy these things. He can't fucking compete. He can throw down a couple $100,000 cash, and he can get his $900,000 mortgage, and these people are coming in outbidding him with fucking cash deals. How can you compete? So he ended up having to get this condo. He think he paid like $750, and he got a condo on the water. But the point is that as long as this shit continues, it's not going to crash. But eventually,
it can't continue with these prices.
That's the thing. Eventually, it's going to slow down, and then it's going to stop, and that's when it's going to crash.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's crazy. And that's the thing, these New Yorkers, where I'm from, we sell our houses. We move to states like Texas, Florida, Montana, Arkansas. We'd be really wealthy. We wouldn't have to fucking worry about anything because it's so cheap, and you get so much money with these houses, and they have so much extra funds from selling $3.7 million fucking apartment in New York City, and they're buying these 5,000 square feet houses in Florida for $400,000. You know, and so they have the funds, they have the money, they'll outbid you, you know, till you're blue in your face. It's crazy, and it's happening here in New York. They're selling their houses in New York City, moving to the countryside, and they're bidding people out here, and it's still like here.
Yeah, if it's not the people, it's corporations like BlackRock doing it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, BlackRock owns the world, dude. They
Well,
own the. Get me started.
you
They've been
know,
doing that for years. It's
when
not new.
Mrs. Triple P's father passed away, her and her sister had to sell her dad's home. And you know, did I tell you who bought the fucking house?
No.
A fucking corporation. A corporation bought my late father-in-law's home.
Wow.
So it's people can't deny it's happening because it fucking happened to us.
Oh,
And they bought it within 24 hours of us putting it on the market.
yeah. And you know what? Another big thing out here, that's going crazy out in my area is the Hasidic community. They're selling their places in the city, and they're coming down here with cash, and they're fucking buying out towns, and they're turning them into fucking cities. You know, it's getting bad out here, man. And
If you think housing is bad, just wait until people start realizing like how much ag land is owned by corporations. Or
Bill Gates is the
Chinese
biggest
government.
landowner in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knew that. He's the biggest landowner in the world. He owns the most farms. He's also in with New York vaccines. And so, you know, that's fucking sketchy as shit. You know, this evil fucking man running our schools and owns the most land and farmlands on top of in the medical field, investing in these companies, and he probably has a say in everything. You know, it's fucking scary. These companies, and like you said, BlackRock, they own all the media outlets. They own pretty much all of Hollywood. Most of the banks, they own everything. And there's another company too, just like BlackRock. There's two of them. Forgot the name of the other one. But it's crazy. You know, it's if you really get reading into some of this stuff, you know, it all makes sense and it adds up. And that's what I don't understand, how 42% of Americans right now are blinded. They can't see shit.
I always say, follow the smart money. What's the smart money doing? It's buying up all the fucking land. It's buying up all the houses.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I don't. It's like Triple P said though at the beginning. He was like, and I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong of you, Triple P, to hate on yourself. You're like, man, it took me so long to get into gold and silver. It's like, yeah, but you got into it though. At least you got into it. Your eyes opened. You saw it for what it is, and you're like, holy shit, I need to do this. There's people out there that aren't like that. They don't see that message. They don't see that they need to do it. And I mean, I hope that they get to the point where they can, but you know, at least you did. You got there. It doesn't matter how long it took. I don't care if it took you 80 years to get to that point. Eventually, you know, you get there and you go, holy shit, I need to do this. And that's what I'm hoping. Like all of our channels, we can, if I can help out, if I can get 5 people to do it, you know, it's 5 people that were not doing it before.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to mention that Triple P did is that he dropped over 100 pounds. He used to be a fat.
Good job, man.
He used to be a fat bastard, and now he's a skinny bastard.
Well, I'm not skinny yet, but
you're a healthy bastard.
I weighed in at 214.6 this morning, so I'm getting there.
That's it, man.
I gotta drop below 200, and then I can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. But you know, I just got to the point where I'm married to a wonderful woman who I love with all my heart. I have an amazing family. I have 2 older boys, and then I have 2 younger boys with Mrs. Triple P. And I just got to a point in my life where I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable and starting to have some fun. It's like, I don't want to fucking die of a heart attack by age 50. I'd like to be here to enjoy it for a while, right?
Yeah, you got kids to live for.
So,
You got to enjoy that stack too, Triple P.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
We can't lose you, man.
Yeah.
I actually just told Mrs. Triple P today, I'm like, yeah, I'm not, you're not enjoying all of that gold and silver without me. You're going to have, you're gonna have to kill me off if you want me gone in any
Are
time.
you gonna be that spiteful son of a gun who just like takes it out in a boat and just
Buries
dunks
it.
like blows up the boat in the ocean? Like fuck you.
If I
You ain't
can't
getting my
have it,
gold.
if
I'll
I
be-
can't have it, you can't have it.
I'll be that spiteful son of a bitch that comes back dead as a ghost to haunt whoever takes my gold and silver.
Well, listen here, Triple P. We all know that our wives are going to live longer than us.
Yeah, I know.
You know, 85% of the time, the men die first, and then the women live an extra 10, 15 years. That's just how it goes most of the time.
That's actually a great video topic. You know, talking about like, hey, even if your significant other doesn't give a shit about gold and silver, at least have them know what you need
And
to do with it
understand.
if you pass on.
Yeah, and I forgot who put a video out on it.
Someone
But
did something like that.
he wrote prices on everything and what it should be going for. If the price was at 25 or 3 or 4, and he has them on paper and on sticky notes on his silver. Well, not like some of it, like if they're in tubes and stuff, you know, and you know,
It's easier than that. I don't even think we need to complicate things that much. Like,
no, he has a spreadsheet and everything, you know.
give our wives just a little bit of education. Let them understand.
Exactly.
Like, I explained some of this to Mrs. Triple P, and she gets it now. Like, she understands what spot price is. She understands what premiums are. She understands that numismatics and semi-numismatics sell for more than your traditional stacking bullion. Like, it's not that complicated if
No.
you just give your wife the basics, so they
Yeah,
have little time of an understanding of it.
absolutely. And I wish I can remember who this was. I know it was a bigger channel, not a super big channel, but like, I don't know, like in our bracket maybe. And he had it explained. So God forbid something were to happen to him, his wife, his kids, or his family know what to do with his metals. And when you walk in, because you know, if a woman walks into an LCS, despite how good of a guy that person is, you know, they always take advantage of a woman. They feel that they don't know as much. It's just like at mechanic shops when a woman doesn't know when they bring their car in because it's making a sound. They're gonna say, "Oh, your tranny's going. It's gonna cost you $13,000." Come to
I
find
wouldn't
out,
even say it's a gender thing, dude. If an LCS can pick out
if you don't
newbies
know
from
anything,
a mile away,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
absolutely, not even gender, but you know, it's a proven fact. You know, if you don't, you gotta know something because they'll find out right away and they'll fucking have you. They'll have you.
Mhm.
You know, I've walked into pawn shops before, and I've seen people, you know, pawning shit, drug addicts or not, selling shit. You know, and you know they'll have a gold chain or something, and I know what gold prices are. I know what silver prices are. Even if they had a fucking a Makita circular saw, you know, the pawn shop guy before, you know, he'll offer them $10 or something. And I know this is not what you should do in a business, but I'll tell the guy, I say, yo, come over here, and I'll explain to him, like, dude, fucking, you can get way more than that. He's offering you $30 a pennyweight. He's not even offering you by the gram. And, you know, he's going to sell that thing for $1,000 more, and you're going to lose. You know, it's one thing, you know, obviously in a business to make money. You know, we're not obviously, you know, we got to make profit, but it's one thing to be greedy. You know what I mean? And some of these guys I've seen offer low prices, you know, prices that are like ridiculous. And, you know, I feel bad for some of these people. And I say, listen, you know, you go somewhere else, and I'll recommend, you know, my LCS or somebody, or, you know, a different pawn shop that I'm friends with or something, and where they can get an honest price rather than some of these places that just take advantage of you. You know, it pays to know and just do your homework when it comes to a
Pays
lot
to
of
be
things.
informed.
Yeah. With not just precious metals, with a lot of things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? With cars, for example. If God forbid your husband died and you don't know anything about cars, you know what I mean? Know the basics. So if something you say no, oh, that doesn't sound like a tranny. That's the timing belt or something or whatever. So when you go into the mechanic shop, you can say, I think it's this. If it's not, maybe it's this. And then if they come back and say something stupid, you obviously know, hey, no, that ain't right. And there's no way I'm going to be, it costs that much to get it fixed. You got to be informed with a lot of things and at least know the basics. Because,
Yeah.
world's fucked up to take advantage of everybody.
Some of these
hours,
pawn
guys.
shops and coin shops are dealing with tweakers, at least in California. So they're getting, they're robbing from somebody else and then selling to an LCS.
Oh yeah, no. If it's fucking, if I notice if it's like a drug addict selling something that's a fucking tweaker, then I know for a fact that shit's be robbed. I'm obviously not going to help them.
over here, dude.
I wouldn't help that, no. But like when I see like an old lady or something, or someone that, and some people you can tell that are on drugs, some people you don't. Maybe I've helped people that were on drugs and I didn't even know about it, or enabled, but you can tell if someone's taken advantage of, and regardless what they're doing or what's going on in their life, it's not human nature for me to sit back and see them get fucking stomped on, where they can make a little more. God forbid it's a mom that the husband just left her high and dry with 4 kids, needs to pay rent, you know what I mean, and this
Definitely.
guy offer him fucking $5 for $100 gold chain. That's
No, I get that there's like the cost of business, but I also think that there's like you can give people more dignity than what you're doing. And I used to work the gun store I was talking about earlier on. We would see like these huge collections come in from people whose dad or uncle or someone passed away, and no one in the family wants the guns, right? So they're bringing them in, and only the store owner would go and do like would give them pricing on stuff, right? And he would give them like bottom dollar, even for like really collectible shit. And I'm like, hey, come on over here. If you like sell to me, we can go to like this FFL over here. I'll give you this much. Like,
and you kind of do it so they don't know, they can't, because you don't want to step on the business's toes either, even though what they're doing is fucked up. You kind of,
what I would end up telling people most of the time, because you can't buy everything, but I'm like, do it on consignment. Just tell me you want to do consignment. You're going to get way more for it. And then that way the business gets their cut, because, they're offering a storefront that the family would not normally have access to for, it's a venue to sell.
Yeah. Consignment shop type deal.
Exactly. So just ask for consignment. And I just, it annoyed me so much to see like these like really rare guns come in, and the owner's like, that's going in my personal collection. It's like, God damn it, you just gave them like $300 for a Colt Python.
Yeah. And that's what I can't stand, you know what I mean? Like, we all, like I said, we all want to get deals and stuff. If we see a car on the side of the road and it's $3,000, we'll ask, hey, what's your best price? Would you take 22? But I'm not going to sit there and say, I'll give you 500. You know what I mean? There's, you gotta,
there's busting someone's balls, and then there's giving them a deal.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to be realistic. Don't get me wrong. It'd be great to get it for $500, but you say, hey, this is my offer, take it or leave it. But, I'll give you 2, $1,000, and, they'll work with you. If not, they don't. But I've seen people, dude, that offered, walk in and say, I want $1,500. The thing's about, $1,500, and people will, I'll give you $250. Well, I got to sit on it. I don't know if I'm going to sell it, this and that. Well, if you got to sit $250 sitting on it, even for a year, ain't bad. And plus, 90% of the time, if you're not going to buy it, you're going to sit on it for a long time anyways. You have that shit sold before you even buy the damn thing. So it's just some people that are just screwed up. So bottom line, it just comes down to know what you got, know what you have, know how to do things, at least
and
the
teach others
basics.
it too.
Yeah, and yeah, spread it around.
It's getting late for you guys.
This was the longest damn stream we've done.
Holy cow! This is
Triple
And
P
I
passed out.
realized Triple P, Campbell Coins is not Eastern time. He's in
he's at like
California.
he's
He's
at like
3 hours behind us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at 12:15.
I forgot about that. He could keep on talking for another 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Yeah, because he's good. It ain't 12 o'clock by him yet.
I've got a fairly large delivery coming to my house tomorrow. I don't know what time they're bringing it yet. So
Is it metals or something else?
let's just say it has to do with security, and we'll leave it at that.
Oh, I know what it is. You need help bringing it in?
It's
They're going to set that up for you. I know.
yeah, but I just don't know what time they're coming. Knowing my luck, they're going to probably freaking call me at like 7 a.m. and say, "Hey, you're in 15 minutes."
Matter of fact, Campbell Coins just did a great video about that too.
Yeah, you gotta get
couple,
your
couple weeks
security.
ago. I remember watching that when I was in Myrtle Beach there. And then he inspired me, so I had to put out a safe video.
Dude, and I love that too, that you found that guy put out so much good information in such a concise, quick
You seen
manner.
that? You seen that
Holy
video?
shit. No, yeah, I watched your video. It's really good.
Yeah, no, I was looking, because, I know shit about it, obviously, what the best safes to buy and stuff, but, I wanted to find someone that can explain it better than me because, I don't know if you guys, watching my YouTube videos, some things I can explain pretty good, some things I just fucking stutter and repeat myself and say a lot, but,
It just comes
this
down
guy,
to practice.
yeah, this guy, hit everything what I would want to say, but wouldn't come out my mouth. And, I thought it was awesome. And he explained it very well and, gave prices and everything. And, I got a lot of people enjoyed that video. I'm glad you got to see it.
Yeah, it was great.
You inspired me to make that video because you put a video like 2 days before that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put out one of those videos.
Yeah, and when I started, in 2005, all I thought, I didn't know the different, I obviously knew that there's more expensive safes out there, but I thought, okay, gun safe will be good enough, Fuck no. Like that shit,
No.
you just need like a little reciprocator saw, go through the side, peel that thing open. You can get into that no problem.
Oh, yeah. Yep. You need it. You need it.
You have
Minimum.
At some point, you have to look at your stack and you have to look at what you're doing to protect your stack.
Yeah.
And, I'm not so much as worried about when I am at home as much as I worry about when I'm not at home. I am never more than probably 6 feet away from a loaded firearm anywhere within my home. And I can access that loaded firearm in less than 2 seconds and still have it be very safe so my kids can't access it. So I've taken the whole at-home aspect to a whole new level. Mrs. Triple P, I taught her how to shoot. I taught her how to fight together. I mean, we're comfortable with things when we're at home. What scares me is when I'm not at home. And that's the whole purpose of trying to hide and deter and secure.
Yep. Exactly. And, like he said with the safes, a lot of people think the bigger the better. Well, listen, I was shocked too when I started getting into safes and knowing the difference. Just because your safe is tall and big and wide, weighs fucking 700 pounds, doesn't make it a good safe. There are safes that are freaking the size of a brick, size of a microwave that weighs 1,000 pounds. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
the size, you know, size. I don't want to say this, but yeah, size doesn't matter.
Size,
It's the one time it doesn't.
size matters with some things, but it doesn't matter with everything.
But yeah, no, I was shocked because I remember going, you know, looking to get a safe. I was going to upgrade and get a better safe, and this was a couple of years ago until I bought my safe recently. And I was shocked. I was, you know, he's like, yeah, go look at that safe there. And he said it was a lot smaller, but had a lot of space. And he says that safe right there weighs almost 2,000 pounds. I said, get the fuck out of here. This small fucking thing. I said, that thing looks like, you know, that thing's got to weigh a lot more than that. No, it was like 1,000 pounds heavier than the other one.
Because it was made out of real components instead of just like sheet metal.
Yeah. And, you know, at the minimum, you know, especially if you're, you know, if your stacks, you're getting there, but you're not that, you know, don't have that big of a stack, you know, a decent, safe, you know, decent rated safe's okay. But at minimum, you should get at least a TL15 to and up, you know, that's what I would do, you know, but that if you have a good amount of stack and, you know, you want to keep it safe.
Yeah.
You know, the best bet is the TL30 and up. Oh, what's it? TL34 that comes next, I think. But those are like very hard to come by.
The TL30, and then after the TL30 is the TL30x6.
Yeah, which is very hard to come by.
Well, there's actually a TR by 6, and that's torch resistant, which is like the unicorn of the safes where you'd never see them. So there's a safe company by me that I have to reach out to, but they have like this $50,000 safe that's like probably the size of like a small refrigerator. And I'm like, what is that made out of? That's $50,000.
See, I wouldn't go that far.
So I actually priced them, Campbell. The TL30x6. They're on Safe and Vault Store is I think the website. I think it's safeandvaultstore.com. You can go check them out. But they are definitely more money than the TL30x6. However, the biggest problem that you're going to run into when you go with that layer of protection is how do you get the fucking thing to where it needs to go?
Yeah, because you basically have to build your house around it.
Because even the TL30x6, we're talking about a safe that's, you know, 5,000 to 5,500 pounds empty. So they're going to have, you know, basically hydraulic forks to get that thing moved around. And they have to have access areas to get that stuff, you know, either in your house or wherever you're going to put it or hidden somewhere in your house. And then you got to worry about floor loading. So there's I mean, it's not like it's like a fucking Ford Ranger that you're putting onto this, you know, little small area of your floor.
You're not going to put that safe on a subfloor. That has to be on concrete.
Yeah. Well, my point is that it's not as simple as, oh, yeah, let me buy that safe, because when you order a safe online, the delivery truck shows up at your fucking house and they drop it at your curb.
I was about to say, they just leave it out there.
They literally drop it on the fucking curbside. So it's barely out of the fucking street. And they say, here's your safe. See you later. Have a nice day. It's your problem now. Yeah. So you just bought this $15,000 or $20,000 fucking safe, and it's sitting in the middle of the fucking street just about, and you're looking at it with your thumb up your ass trying to figure out how the hell you're going to move it, because you need about 26,000 guys just to scoot it.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of logistical problems that you're going to encounter when you come up with that level of security.
So what I found for the delivery addresses that I've used and the companies that I've used, sometimes they don't offer installation, like you're saying, and it's just curbside only. So when the drivers drop it off, I'll go, hey, you know, like, if I give you an extra $100, you help me move this sucker? They're like, yeah. So sometimes they're willing to move it if you just talk to the drivers. Other times they're like, nope, it's your fucking problem. Deal with it. It's like,
I noticed that.
All right, I'll just go rent like a fork, you know, a jack, and just move this shit over.
You know, that's one option, but it's a gamble because the driver could say no. The other option, though, is at least personally what I found is there's, safe stores that might be in your neck of the woods, like an LCS,
Yeah.
like your local safe and vault store,
Yeah.
and go there and you just talk to them,
And they usually have a guy, a
and
contractor.
they usually can negotiate prices, and they work with the vendors, and they will custom build it the way that you want it, and you negotiate a price. And oh, guess what? If you're paying cash, you can negotiate a better price.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they come in and they deliver it and they install it and they bolt that fucker down. Not that it needs to be bolted down anyways, because it weighs as much as a fucking Nissan Titan, but they bolt that fucker down and you're set.
Yep. No, totally true. It's you have to. That's one thing that I didn't know in my area, that there was like so many safe stores. There's a ton. You just have to look.
Yeah.
And so exactly, Triple P. Just go to a safe store, talk to them. Just say like, I have some valuables. I'm looking for this type of security.
Yeah. And also tread lightly. Don't tell everybody that you're buying a TL30 or TL15 safe or any safe.
I've got
in
about
that.
100 ounces of gold. What holds that around here?
Yeah,
Like,
and
some
I've
of those
seen
ears
people
might perk up a bit.
I've seen people do that, walking into safe stores and LCSs and ask my LCS, I have this many ounces of gold. I'm trying to find a safe. What do you recommend? You know what I mean?
They trust people too much.
Yeah,
It's funny because I walked into the safe store and I was talking to a guy about it, and I of course never said why I wanted to buy a certain type of safe, but they know.
They know what you're doing.
He said, yeah, he's like, I don't know what you're storing, but for people who are storing things like, a lot of guns or some type of gold and silver bullion, this is generally what we recommend. And it's kind of like they know. They're not.
Yeah, well, they know, but I'm talking about like other customers within
Other
the store who have no like affiliation with the store, but you're just over there like, oh yeah, I've got this. Like, okay, cool. Because nowadays, and this happened to my girlfriend recently, she went to like this shopping center and they put a fucking tracker in her car.
Oh,
like
those
one of those like
Apple
little tags.
Yeah, those Apple Air tags.
Yeah, her phone picked it up saying you have a device that we don't recognize.
Yeah, and
wow.
So I mean, they could tag your car, follow you home, or just they know where you live now, and then it's just like, hey, fuck you, surprise, motherfucker.
Other dumb thing I see people do, and it irks me, it really pisses me off, is when I see people on Facebook or Instagram, oh, me and the family are leaving for the week, 2 weeks, we're going to Costa Rica. That's what your 4,000 Facebook friends know, and all that.
Here's where I live.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's you gotta.
Here's the thing. I mean, I've never been a fan of security systems until I started stacking gold and silver.
My stance on that.
Protect your shit. I know, but you also know my thoughts too. You cannot even fucking sneeze within a quarter of a mile of my house without me knowing you're there sneezing. So, there's different ways to protect shit with, security systems, cameras, motion detectors. There's all different ways. And you need to think about the ways bad guys will try to disable them. Because before I flew, I was a cop. I spent many years in law enforcement. And I actually still have my foot in law enforcement. That being said, one of the things they always teach you is if you want to catch a bad guy, you need to think like a bad guy. So fucking think about if you were going to try to hold this shit up and steal what you have, how are you going to pull it off? And once you figure out how you're going to create an attack, then you know where your attack is coming from.
Yep.
It's people are just dumb. Just very simple. People are just dumb.
Well, I think it's I agree. I think it's also like an ignorance thing of like, they're like, well, everyone else does it, and then you're like, it doesn't hit you until you're like, oh shit, I just gave like all this really personal information out there. And that's why I don't post about any sort of vacation until I'm back. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I went here.
Yeah, unless you tell like
If
your
I do
close
that.
friends or family, but other than that, the pictures are uploaded once I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think that's really smart.
Especially where people know my face and my name. Now, if YouTube's a little different, because unless you're close with me, you don't know my name, you don't know my number, you don't know my email. There's nothing you can really do unless you're like some type of hacker. But good luck getting through my VPN. So you can try and do your magic, but it's definitely smart to be secure and do things right, especially if you got a lot of cash or guns or precious metals. That would suck to get robbed.
Yeah.
I would fucking, my heart be broken. And
You
someone
just got to be smart where you hide the shit.
Yep.
Exactly. Think about where a thief would look to find the shit, and
Bedrooms and closets.
Don't put your shit there. Don't put it in the master bedroom closet.
Nope, they're going right in there.
Think about where they're going to go first, and that's the last place you put it.
See, I have it hidden in my house. Yeah, I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm not going to tell you where I hide it, but it's in a secret. It's in a secret room. Put it that way.
Diversify shit too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not all in one spot. Hell
exactly. No. So if someone does find, we found 200 ounces of silver. We scored. We found 5 ounces
They're
of
out
gold.
the house.
Yep. Great.
They got it. They're done.
I have a decoy safe. I have one of those cheap ass Walmart safes that you can pry open with a screwdriver.
The Century safe or something.
Yeah, I leave it in a super obvious spot.
Yep.
Where it's like right out in the open. It's got a little bit in there, and it's just like it's there for the bait. Go grab that shit
and run.
Yeah, and as it is, my shit is spread across property. It's not within the house. I don't have anything. I mean, what you saw on camera is like what I have in the house, and it's 4 videos. So that shit gets, trucked away as soon as I'm done with the video.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, has anyone been in this video the entire time? Have they been watching since 6:15? If you have,
I think so. Silver Forever, Desert Bob. There's
kudos to you guys.
Yeah, we've been at it for a while.
Kudos to you guys.
This is the longest stream we've done. We usually average about almost 2 hours.
Mrs. Triple P just commented. She said, "Oh, I love you too, baby." I missed that comment.
Aww.
She's at the other end of the house in bed waiting on me. So
ooh, she's waiting for you. Gonna be one of those nights you might get lucky.
Probably not this week.
Oh my gosh.
What'd you do?
Her Aunt Flo is in town.
Oh, Flo from Progressive?
What's that?
Flo from Progressive?
Yes.
I just switched my car insurance from Geico to Progressive recently, actually, too.
Her Aunt Flo, who lives on the Red River, right on the Texas-Oklahoma border.
Oh, what's it, Texacoma? What do they call that? There's a city there right on the border. It's half of it's in Texas, half of it's in Oklahoma, or was it Arkansas? I don't fucking know. I think it's Texacoma or something.
Brother Dave says he's been here listening the whole time.
Brother Dave, thanks, Brother Dave, for watching, man.
3 hours and 18 minutes. Holy fuck!
Holy fuck, we're going on to 4. Holy shit!
And my phone just went low battery.
my phone's
That's why my screen went dark. I had to plug mine in.
Yeah, I had just plugged mine in now. Thank God I looked. It was 2%.
I I started this at like 96% battery.
Yeah, mine was at 94, and it just like this live drained it 100 to 0
Stream,
so fast.
streams really take a lot of energy out of your phones. What's up, Denmo? Thanks for watching, man. Desert Bob, Mrs. Triple P, Silver Oceans. Silver Ocean's been in here for a little bit. Wild West Stacker, RR. Damn.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation, guys.
Yeah, it really has.
I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it, Campbell. It means a lot. Like I said, you're one of the great channels on YouTube.
Thank you. You guys have actually given me a lot of good stuff to watch. Because I'm like you, I can't watch a lot of these bigger channels because it's just like the same thing we've been talking about. Like, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this. It's like you guys flip flop more than Joe Biden during election season.
Yeah. Buy newfound gold mining. Go invest in this mining now.
That's actually one topic I want to talk about because people hate on sponsors a lot, but I don't know about you guys, but I pour a ton. I run a deficit doing these videos. I put so much time into them. It's like, that's the only way I can get a little bit of money out of it. Just to,
you gotta, because
and I view it as like a commercial. Like, you guys watch TV, a commercial pops up for like Applebee's or something. Does it mean that show gives a shit about Applebee's? No, that Applebee's is just paying to be in that time slot. That's kind of how I view like some of these sponsorships. It's like, you're just paying to be on my show, and I'm gonna, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I understand, because when I started YouTube, I didn't think, I thought I was gonna upload videos and done, but it's expensive, gauze and giveaways, stuff for the cameras and tripods and
just your time, dude.
Time, yeah, and not only that, purchasing things just to do reviews and emailing companies and doing interviews. It gets expensive. It's time consuming, especially if you have a family and kids and you have a business. Most of my videos I film late at night. Most people are fucking sleeping when I'm posting my shit. You know what I mean? But that's the time I got. Sometimes on the weekends, that's when I'll post early or, but my shit's nighttime, and
It's crazy. I run I might put out a 10 or a 15-minute video, and it takes me like an hour and a half or 2 hours just to edit the damn thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The time is definitely, and for a while I was doing when I first started, I think I was doing like a video every day or a video every 2 days. I can't do that shit anymore. It just takes too much time away from my family. And it's like, I'm maxed out now. And now we're starting this SHTF series on Thursday nights. So between this on Tuesdays, the prepping stuff on Thursdays, and the Saturday morning premiere train, I'm done. Three a week is as high as I can.
That's a lot of and this is 3 hours of your time.
Yeah.
This
is fun. This is a little different.
This cool though, because this is almost like talking on the phone or talking on FaceTime in a way,
like bullshitting,
where it doesn't really require any prep. Like, I build this little fucking pyramid and threw a few guns on the table, but that took me like 5 minutes. So there's like very little prep work for this, and then we can just talk and be ourselves, and it's more raw. And
it's no editing.
Ways we can connect with the community almost on a different, more natural level with something like this that we can with a video, which may be better content because it's edited and it's better prepared and it's more engaging sometimes to your audience, but this is more real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look how many topics we just like plowed through. Like it was at least like 18 different topics.
Yeah,
And
you
just
can't get that with
cover
the
that
video.
in a 15-minute video. It would
Right.
just be so spacey and so all over the place that it's impossible. It's unwatchable, really. But this type of stuff where you're just shooting the shit for 3 hours, I like that.
And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to do this to get other stackers' opinions and talk about what we think, what's going on around the world, and all kinds of crap. And you relate to people, your subscribers, on a more of a personal level, and get to know them, and they get to know you more. It's fun, and I like doing it. And like I said, it's raw. What you're getting is, watching a band live. There's no editing, nothing on a, like when you get that record or that CD versus watching that band live. They fuck up, you're gonna hear it. So
or if they go off the rails and do something totally different, like a cover of something else, you're like, holy shit, like
yeah, no, it's really cool. And the most work I would have to say going into this, besides would be the thumbnail and just uploading the video onto StreamYards and putting in your description and all that stuff. That's the most work on these things. And I don't, like I said, we don't consider the time, because it's like bullcrapping with bullshitting with friends on a phone call.
Yeah.
And it's nighttime. It's 9:15 at night. What else would we be doing besides going to sleep? You know what I mean? It's one night of the week that we stay up late and just, talk about things.
It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys asking me to do this.
Anytime, man.
We appreciate it. It was a blast.
And you're welcome to come back. Maybe Campbell Coins Part 2.
Definitely do that.
Hemorrhoid cream.
the return of the butthurt
application.
Butthurt cream 2. The hemorrhoid continue.
But
don't
lotion.
Don't Google that. You'll get some weird images that you don't want to see.
I can honestly say I have no desire to Google that.
Hey, what's going to be T the Silver Stacker's name next week? Is this going to be some type of cream or?
No, I think it's like with T. He's one of the few stackers I've met in person. There's only two stackers that I've met in person, and T one of them.
Who is the other one?
Pirate stacker.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys all live down in the same area, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
We've been out with Pirate for sushi a couple of times to this really good sushi restaurant up in the Orlando area. And Mrs. Triple P and I love good sushi, so that's kind of like our guilty pleasure. But yeah, Pirate, and he's another one. Pirate, with him, what you see is what you get. He in person, and I think that's maybe why I like the guys that I like so much. That's why I like them, because they're real and they're grounded and they're not phony. Like Pirate is in person as you see in his videos. T the Silver Stacker, he is what you see in his videos. He's very, very similar to that.
He puts out some good stuff too.
Oh, and obviously I'm not going to say anything personal about the guy, but he is more educated than a lot of people probably would ever dream. He's a super intelligent guy, and
very generous.
Oh yeah, extremely generous.
Very supportive.
And he's a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Hey, there's only two good things to come out of Chicago: the Cubs and the pizza.
No. New York pizza. New York pizza. Don't even go there.
Well, I mean, I can turn Chicago pizza into New York pizza if I just run over it with my car tire a couple of times.
Fuck your deep dish bullshit.
Triple P, he's gonna need some butthurt cream.
Who's in the chat? New York pizza or Chicago pizza? Pick. It sure the hell ain't no California pizza.
but you cannot pick one or the other unless you've had both.
They're
or
both totally different. They're both
both
good. They're different in their own ways.
experienced New York pizza and Chicago pizza. You cannot pick one if you haven't had both.
Yeah, and you can't pick one as it is anyways because they're both totally different. They have their own. And that's like getting a plain slice or a Sicilian slice. You know what I mean? They're both considered pizza, but they're totally different.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, in Pennsylvania is known for their Old Forge, PA, which is by Scranton Wilkes-Barre. They're known for their deep dish pizza too, and it's called the pizza capital of the world, I guess, the town, and they have good. They're known for their square pizza, and it's good. But you know, me being from New York and getting New York City pizza, you know, I grew up on that shit, and I've been to Virginia and Florida, and you know, well, let's grab a slice of pizza, and nothing compares. You know, nothing compares. You know,
These comments are interesting. Denmo says New York. Silver Forever said they're different. Brother Dave says Ohio. I don't believe that was one of the choices.
I think Ohio's more similar to your guys' pizza.
Wild West Stacker said thin crust. If I want lasagna, I'm eating Italian.
So thin crust, that would be pretty much New York.
That would be New York, yeah.
Denmo says New York. You know why? Because Denmo lives in New York.
Then he's automatically eliminated. His vote.
We New Yorkers got to stick together, right?
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, T is a super bright guy. So like I'm excited that he's going to come on next week.
Yeah, me too. And he was one of my first interviews when I started doing patriotic interviews on my channel. I haven't done them in a while. It's actually been, I think my last one was actually Silver Heist. But yeah, he was one of my first guests, and I was so excited when he said he'd do it. So excited because I'm like, man, this is the biggest channel I've had on my show. I've watched his videos since day one, and I'm so humbled that he's coming on my show and giving me the time of day. And then he also interviewed me on his show, on his channel, which
awesome.
was very, very.
It was very humbling because he did the same thing with me when we went up to Chicago to visit my family. I met T at the Gold Depot where he's done many of his interviews at.
Yes, in the original videos, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was the same thing. It was very humbling because he wanted to interview me, and we hung out at the Gold Depot, and you know, we probably only filmed for maybe about 15 minutes, out for well over an hour. I think I bought like a couple pieces of platinum, and I bought something because T's got to buy something at the end of every video. I'm like, well, I'm here at an LCS. I'm going to buy something. So I bought a couple little pieces of platinum and I think 1 or 2 silver coins or something like that.
I think you bought a Mickey Mouse coin.
Yes, that's what it was. You're right. It was
See, you could tell him I watched this shit.
It was slabbed, right?
I don't remember. I think you said you got it for your wife because she likes Disney.
She wanted. Yeah, she wanted. You know, she likes the Disney thing, even though I'm not, for obviously political reasons, I'm not a very big fan of Disney right now.
But that's pre-crazy Disney, so it's okay.
Yes, and you know, I get it. She grew up with it, and it was a very different time when she grew up, where everything was not a political issue. So I get it, and she's always been into the whole royal family thing. So we have this kind of like loving sparring going between us, and that's where I came up with her ugly bugliness thing was because I said that to her, and she's like, "You're so mean," and I'm like, "Ooh, that actually sounds good. Her ugly mugliness. I think I'm gonna use that."
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
It's Prince Charles approved, I heard.
Maybe, hey Campbell, maybe I can borrow some of your butthurt cream to give to my wife.
There's a "that's what she said" type thing going on right there too.
And you know what?
Oh,
I tell you, with this whole shit going on with Disney now, if Walt Disney was still alive, he'd be rolling around in his grave, knowing how political Disney became and how the prices are outrageous. He made Disney so every child in this world can go there at least once and be kids and enjoy the attractions and everything. And it wasn't supposed to be the expensive like it is today. They're $200-$300 a ticket for each park. And
Jesus.
not only that, it's political, extremely political now. And it's these companies, the left pretty much owns the big businesses, the media outlets and everything, and they force them. Either you're with us or you're not, and if you're not, we'll ruin you. And
I think they're learning that that's not the case. I mean, look at Netflix and how many subscribers they've lost. Why do you think that is? It's because you shove shit down our throats that we don't want to see.
Absolutely.
We don't give a shit that Obama's talking about the national parks. Like,
yeah. And you
no
got
one gives a shit.
companies that are standing up to the leftist bullcrap, like what's the name of the one company? You have Chick-fil-A that says, screw you, we're not doing it. You had not Big Lots, or maybe it was Big Lots or Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby. They said, we're not kneeling down to your leftist agenda. And then you have UFC, Ultimate Fighter. We're not gonna kneel down to your bullshit. So you're starting to get these companies that are starting to stand up, to this leftist bullcrap, trying to push a narrative with these liberal commercials that claim they're not racist or claim they're for equality, but yet they're singling out people, and they're calling white straight men and white straight women racist devils, straight from the pit of hell. You know what I mean? Like, they're contradicting themselves, and they're hypocrites. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Here's the thing, I just don't understand why they attack conservatives the way that they do. Because in my life, I've never attacked liberals the way that they attack conservatives. There was never this issue.
Not until recently, anyways.
Yeah, and well, okay, so yeah, there's that. But I mean, they've been attacking conservatives for years now, and it's not getting better; it's getting worse. And don't look now, but the next big distractor that's coming is this whole Roe v. Wade thing. That's coming down the pipes.
Well, listen, I ain't gonna talk about that because that's the most controversial thing here, and my opinions are very strong.
Well, and that's fine, but it doesn't even matter where you stand on the issue. I don't even know where you stand on the issue, and I don't really give a fuck where you stand on the issue. But it's coming down the pipes where it's going to be big news. And what are we distracting? What else is going to be going on in the world that we are going to use this Roe v. Wade issue to distract from? Because I feel like there's something bigger that's going to be happening behind the scenes.
You want to know my opinion on this?
What's that?
I think anyone that kills a baby, regardless if it's a week old or if you're 9 months pregnant, should be life in prison. That baby is born as soon as that's a heartbeat in that woman's body. That's a baby. That's a human being.
I mean, and that you and I share the same beliefs. I feel the same way, but we don't need to go down that rabbit hole tonight. But by the same token, I feel like this is something that should have, if they do overturn it, and they do, there's a lot of misconceptions. If they overturn it, it's still the state's decision, which is how it should have been from the beginning anyways. It should be the state's right to decide what's legal in their states and what isn't.
Yeah.
So all they would be doing is correcting what was wrong decades ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So that being said, if you decide that you want to commit murder and kill your baby, and you can't do it in Texas, well, I'm sure you can drive to another state that will be more than happy to stick.
And they should make that illegal. You know, if you're leaving Texas just because they say no, well, you're from Texas, you got a Texas driver's license, you can't come here. You know what I mean? I agree, like, if the woman gets raped, or if it's going to risk the woman's life. But if you're using it as a form of birth control because you want to go and open your legs and fuck around, and then just go, oh, I'll just go abort the baby, that's fucked up. And that's what people are doing. I remember a clip, there was a video, it was in the news, Governor Northam of Virginia about a couple years ago says, oh, don't worry, we make the babies comfortable. You can have the baby, and we make them comfortable, and then it pretty much dies. So they were allowing 8 months, 9 months pregnancies to be aborted. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's kind of a sore subject for me. I have very strong feelings about that as well. But holy shit, is there one topic that's political or controversial that we've missed tonight?
No, everything's controversial.
Covered every fucking possible political topic there.
Wait,
we're bound to piss off somebody, and that's why the butthurt cream's here.
I think
if you
we
get mad at
one.
this, stay tuned for like 5 more minutes. You'll be happy again. Apply some butthurt cream to the soreness. You'll be fine.
Side effects.
You'll live
headache.
through it.
Side effects, rash, headache.
I'm going to have to bounce off. My phone is literally about to die.
Yeah.
No worries.
I'm about to nod off.
I
hear me snoring next.
Broke below 5% here, so
I feel like I'm so unhealthy right now for staying up this late. My mouth's dry. My eyes are like closing.
But hey, I just want to say this before my phone cuts out. Campbell's Coins, thank you so much, man. It was awesome. It was an awesome discussion. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Had a good time, guys. Thank you.
Hey, it was a pleasure, Campbell.
Thanks.
Well, till next time, man.
All right.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. I am going to bounce. All of you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Next Tuesdays on Triple P's channel. So don't forget to tune in for Tita Silver Stacker. And all right, guys, thanks for watching. And good night.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.